Inside Stone's Gambling Hall in Sacramento, California, you'll find Sammy's Restaurant and Bar. Recognized for its innovative, healthy global cuisine, Sammy's offers menu selections made with local, organic ingredients. Indulgent options like truffle fries, duck tacos, artisan wood-fired pizzas, fresh salads, and more, along with an eclectic selection of craft beers and classic handcrafted cocktails. Plus, with 40 big screen TVs, Sammy's is also the perfect place to catch your favorite game. Satisfy your craving anytime, 24/7, tableside or in the dining room at Sammy's Restaurant and Bar at Stone's Gambling Hall.
Hey, welcome to Stone's Gambling Hall. We are here for the Fall Classic. I'm David Tuckman. This is
Justin Kelly.
Right, that's exactly who it is. We call him Fat Train over here.
It's true.
They call me Tuck on Sports. I am wearing my pathetic Jets jersey, a fan through and through, no matter how mediocre or bad they are. At this point, we are just striving for mediocrity. Nonetheless, though, something that is not mediocre is this poker room. I tell you, this is a great place to play poker. I come up every couple of months to play and, of course, do some commentary. And here we are here for the Fall Classic. $350 to get in.
The Classic Deepstack tournament today.
Yeah, and we crushed the guarantee. We crushed the guarantee yesterday.
Yes, we
and
did.
we crushed the guarantee today.
163 players today.
Yeah, the guarantee was $40,000. No. We crushed it by more than $10,000. They are down to their final 9 players. It's pretty exciting stuff, okay?
I'm stoked. These guys have been playing since, I believe, 10 a.m. this morning. So we're cruising on just that 11-hour mark, and we're ready to rock.
Yeah. Justin, David, and you are whoever you might be. So thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, you want to say hi, you can always join us in the Twitch chat room. We encourage the show to be as interactive as possible. And I can see that Angry Pollock, Babyface Atlanta, JFK Stone, Tank 87, Plastica, JQ, Poker Pro Eric, all in there. Flat Caller as well. Thank you so much for joining us. So we will keep our eye on that as we keep our eye on the game as well.
All of our regs.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, so let's take a look around the table, guys. Starting over there in seat 1 there, you're going to see that is LT. I don't believe we actually have some chip counts on these guys right off the bat.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that is not LT, the New York Giants linebacker.
No, that is definitely not LT.
Right.
He was busy. And number...
Probably in jail.
And seat 2 there, you have Shane. Shane is a big-time regular here at Stones. You might have seen him at a lot of tournament final tables. Seat 3 there, who's currently missing, is Niv. And so it looks like those ships are going to play themselves for now. Seat 4 over there, you got Johnny Trips. Man, I hope that's his real name, because I am in. Johnny Trips is all the way there in seat 4 there in the hat.
What are you looking at seeing this?
Right here.
Oh, it's right in front of us.
Right here, yeah.
I'm like, where are you seeing this? How do you know this?
Magic. It's so
I was like, you have the best memory ever.
Magic. And then seat 5, we have Barry.
Right.
And then followed by him, we have seat 6, we have Harry. Now, you guys might recognize Harry from some of our other cash games we've had, some of our higher limit games. He is no stranger to this TV table, so maybe that helps him out a little bit here.
Harry's side job, by the way, is a traffic cone.
And he does good things with it.
Yeah, exactly. Monday through Friday, he's a traffic cone.
That's good. Then moving on over to seat 7, we have Jeff H. Followed up by, looks like our super flaming Chevy hat there, David in seat 8.
No relation to this David?
No, very different because we are not at the fun table.
Right.
And then in seat 9, we have Roger Bailey, I believe, here, who's just returning to a seat there.
Just insane. I mean, Roger Bailey, I feel like, does he make a lot of final tables here, or is it just when I do commentary? Because every time I'm doing commentary up here, he makes a final table.
Well, maybe you're his good luck charm.
Right. Well, he's the founder and I guess CEO of Two Pair Poker Tour.
Yes, yeah.
A good guy, good friend of mine, and another final table.
And he's here. So he wanted to make you proud. That's what
does he make a lot of final tables, or is it just when I'm doing commentary?
I think it's just kind of when you're in town, dude. Like, you have that aura about you.
He should fly me out.
Yeah.
He really should.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I love it. Now you can see our tournament director there, JFK, just giving them the final pointers on keeping your cards over the reader, making sure you don't punch anybody else in the face. That's definitely a big no-no here at Stones, and I would assume most other card clubs. And yeah, we have our dealer getting suited up there with the microphone and headset, and we are going to get underway here.
Veronica Brill pointing out that Tuck is in the center of the screen and slowly pushing Train out. No, that's not true at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it's true.
No, it's not true at all.
Guys, sharing is caring.
Yeah,
Y'all just need to...
Honestly, we are an equal group, okay? Justin and I are one and the same, okay? Fuck out of here, okay?
And we're back.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, thank you for spending your Sunday night with us.
Absolutely.
And can you think of a better way to spend your Sunday night? You've spent an entire Sunday afternoon miserably losing fantasy football, losing money on DraftKings and FanDuel yet again.
And
here,
so lovely Sarah,
you can relax and watch some poker and watch other people make money. We have this is our Stones resident.
It's Sarah.
Call her what you will.
Here. She's fantastic. You've seen her deal on the live stream. She's
Cheers.
Awesome.
By the way, Starbucks, if you're looking to sponsor, we can sponsor this. You can too. You can sponsor this great broadcast. So as I was saying, you probably lost thousands of dollars playing DraftKings, FanDuel, and your fantasy football team sucks. We all know that, okay? You started the wrong guys, you lost. But you can hang out with us for a few hours, watch other people lose money and win money, watch people make bad decisions, and have fun doing it. That's what we're here for. Jakku says, David Tuckman, what the fuck happened? Oh, what happened to your Jets today? Had Fitz going today on my fantasy football team. I'm going to go on a limb and say you lost.
That's a good read. It's a good read.
Heck Jacobo says, wine, not beer. What's up with that? Yeah, I am generally a beer drinker, but I don't know, I was in the wine mood today.
Sometimes you're a little whiny. I mean, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to bring it up.
In all fairness, Art, the general manager of this fantastic gambling hall, gave us one of his wines from his own stash.
Oh, is that what we had? That was delicious.
It was good wine.
Wow,
That's why we drank it.
Yeah, and they were sizable pours. They were very generous.
Yeah, no. So that is why. So total chips in play, we have 2.4 million chips in play. As you can see, we're down to our final 9. Average stack is 270,000. The blinds.
Oh, look at this.
Forget who cares the blinds.
Right
We're just moving all in.
Yeah, right off the bat, Niv is just like, let me show you what's up. Unfortunately for him, his jacks are going to be running into Jeff H's kings here over here in seat 7.
Yeah, Shane is going to get lucky. Now, I mean, he would have been flipping against the jacks, but he would have been crushed against the kings.
Yeah.
But I believe after he raises, and you get an all-in, and then another all-in with the kings.
I can't see Shane.
And by the way, look at Barry. Barry's got 9s.
Yeah. Everybody's got a piece of it.
Great fold, by the way. I mean, it seems standard to a lot of tournament players to fold that.
But you have
but that's a good fold.
Yeah.
You know, give him credit. Sometimes we dismiss the obvious.
So now that's exactly what you're talking about. Obviously, you know, Jeff H here is going to re-jam over the top with kings,
which he did.
He's all in for 176, so it's 136K, pretty much all of Shane's stack at this point to call, and Shane's just laughing because like he knows that that's in trouble.
Yeah, and you know, for ICM reasons and other reasons, I just think this is a fairly easy laydown. He's only invested, well, man, he's just invested 40 of his 173. Are the blinds 10-20 right now?
The blinds are currently at 5 and 10 with 1,000 ante.
Why did he make it 40,000 pre-flop?
So he's
why make it 4x? I mean, honestly, if he makes it 2x,
then it's really easy to get away too.
Yeah, I mean, he's just put. I mean, frankly, he has 17 big blinds. Why not make it like 2.2x and they just fold? Yeah. Now he's putting 4x and he doesn't know what to do. Yeah. Ace queen offsuit. I mean, ace queen suited or offsuit just plays terribly.
Is he in as well? He said all 3 hands.
Oh wow. He's gonna gamble, and he's in great. I mean, it's the best case scenario for him.
Oh, for sure, he has a live ace.
Right. I mean, he could have easily been up against jacks and ace king.
Oh yeah. So wow. Okay, so 3 all-ins here. Handling biz. Shane is hoping for an ace or some diamonds. Ooh, wow. Top set on the flop for Jeff here with pocket kings.
It's not looking good for Niv.
It's super. Oh, and then he gets the jack on the turn. How does that happen?
Another jack?
Yeah.
Another jack. One time. No, not this time.
Wow.
What a hand.
And they both hit sets. Really? Wow.
I believe now Shane is not all in. Shane is on fumes.
Oh, absolutely. Shane has basically his original 4x raise at about 40K, 37K left.
Yeah.
So wow.
Now I just feel like, you know, when you get the first all in, I'm calling with ace queen.
Yeah.
But the second all in, ace queen is just not doing very well against that.
Yeah. And it's funny, had this hand played out any other sort of way, with kings flopping top set, maybe he checks, and maybe jacks makes a move and traps himself, or even then, if they see the turn and jacks checks, they're getting it in, and kings and jacks are getting this in no matter what way you slice it.
Right.
So,
by the way, I'm not too important for this. I'm actually gonna tweet this out and see if we can get some people to watch.
absolutely.
We are live.
And especially for those of you who are joining us from the East Coast, thank you very much. I know with that time difference, you're out there for a little midnight poker action, and we appreciate it.
What is this? Stones Live Poker?
Stones Live Poker. So taking a look at chip count here, guys, we have our big stack is Harry here with a little over 600K, followed up by, I didn't miss the name there, but they have about 560K behind.
I mean, there are times I kind of subscribe to the Max Steinberg school of poker where I think, you don't want to play poker in a box, and I think there are times where you want to raise it 3x or 4x.
Yeah.
But frankly, when you have 17 big blinds, that is the time where, I mean, honestly, with ace-queen suited, I wouldn't have hated just an open shove.
Yeah.
With 17 bigs. Now, he would have been called anyway.
Of course, yeah.
But I'd much rather shove than be calling off.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like if he doesn't go that route, I'd rather just go like 2.2x, and then when you get an all-in and then another all-in, you can fold the ace-queen. You hate it, but you can fold that and just kind of ladder up a little bit.
So congrats to Niv off today's buy-in. He will be taking home $1,254 there for 9th place. Well done, a good 11 hours worth of work. 100 and some change an hour, take it.
The average stack now 304,000 or 30 big blinds, which is, that's a reasonable average stack.
Yeah.
At this point. Barry's short. We have a couple of really short stack though. Barry is really short, and as we just pointed out, Shane is very short.
Yeah, he's very short now, yeah.
Which presents a really interesting dynamic because a guy like David, who's got a ton of chips, I'm not sure how experienced David is, but David can really put a ton of pressure on any of the medium stacks because there is a difference of, between 5th and 8th, we're talking $2,200, which doesn't sound like a ton of money, but when you consider the buy-in is only $350,
exactly,
that's a decent turnout. It would if you're 4th in chips right now, it's a catastrophe to get knocked out before Shane gets knocked out.
Yeah. Wild Child 916 says, since Niv busted, I'm going to put my money on Roger. Well, we do know that Roger makes final tables when you're in town, so that is an educated guess there.
Roger's hair looks fantastic. I don't know what he's done with it.
It's a fresh cut.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. How you been, man?
Good. What about you? Yeah. Good.
Oh well.
Yeah, you had a little stint out there at the series for a while. Hung out there. You went decently deep in the main event, a couple days.
I cashed in the main event.
Yeah, very cool.
Went 4 days in the main event, cashed in that, so I'm now 2 for 5 in the main event.
Solid.
It's the only tournament I can play. I played yesterday's tournament here. You lasted longer than me, and so did Lon McCarron, which is shameful to be honest. I got knocked out about, I want to say 20 away from the money.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, we paid top 24. Pretty much, I got like 25th or 26th. Either way, it made me sad and want to punch kittens. So I definitely was the bubble boy yesterday. But somebody's got to be it. So.
Any particular reason why kittens and not another animal?
Well, it would have been.
Person?
It normally would have been puppies, but I don't. It's just something.
Why not Veronica Brill?
No, because I actually want to punch that. I don't want to punch kittens.
I see. Okay. On a normal basis, you want to punch Veronica Brill.
Who doesn't? Right? I have standards.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, she is the angry Polak. It's in the name.
So blinds are 510 with an 1,000 ante. Once again, average stack about 30,000 chips. And you can see Jeff H with a ton of chips, Harry with a ton of chips. Roger also short stacks. So we have 3 very short stacks.
Yeah, and Harry's coming in here. He's coming in for, looks like a raise. 30K from Harry in the cutoff with Queen Jack suited. And
by the way, I'm going to be, if I have a reasonable stack at this table, I'm going to be fairly aggressive. As long as there's a guy who only has 37,000 chips, you have to realize that nobody else wants to get knocked out. The pay jumps are, whether it's 1,000 or 800 or 1,500, the pay jumps are significant enough that you do not want to get knocked out before the guy who has 35. Yeah, Shane now 35,000.
Exactly, right? I mean, and I think that we see that a lot too, especially in tournament poker at these final tables where everybody kind of looks around. Okay, who's the short stacked? Okay, I'm just gonna wait to see. I'm just gonna wait for them to bust or double up. Wait for I mean, you have to be aware of people's stack sizes.
Right. Well, that's part of the game. You play this game. You play this game. I know it's sexy to say, "Oh, I'm playing for the win," but we play to make money. And frankly, if you're LT who I believe is currently 6th in chips or 5th in chips, with about 21 big blinds. I'm not playing a hand unless I have a premium right now because I have to wait. There's 3 guys who have shorter stacks than me, and I've got to be able to ladder up.
Yeah, exactly. Who should feasibly bust pretty quickly.
Now, Johnny's obviously, he's all in here. Sorry, Shane's all in.
So Shane's jamming in here with
and
6s.
Well,
yeah, of course you're going to.
Well,
You're under the gun. You're waiting for any sort of hand, and 6s is just
honestly,
as
he
good
could shove with king high. Right,
I was going to say 6s are good. It's just as good as aces, king high. Doesn't matter. I mean, you're shoving it right there under the gun.
I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, at that point, any 2 cards that work well together, any king high, any ace high, any pair. Because if you wait, the next hand, 1/3 of your stack goes in on the big blind.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, he's called, but he's in great shape, actually.
Exactly. No,
he's actually a favorite against
perfect.
Ace King.
Yeah, exactly.
And we see how many aces and kings are dead.
So Barry shoves over the top here to isolate with Ace King, and he's definitely going to get his wish.
Kind of unlucky for Barry, to be honest. I mean, because since we know Shane is probably shoving all of his kings.
Yeah,
all of his aces,
exactly. He's shoving anything.
To be a dog here is tough luck. LT is the guy I was talking about, where he just has the most to lose at this point.
Yeah.
By getting knocked out, but we'll see if Shane can. Shane's 6s can survive. Once again, David Tuckman.
Justin Kelly.
The Train.
Boom.
Is it The Train or just Train?
Either way, I'll take it. Well, normally Train, but
Train.
Oh, look at this. World of Outs here. Queen, 4, or no, Queen, Ace King, nothing.
What world of outs? I'm going Jack, 4. I'm like ace or a king, right?
Well, yeah, but you could also double pair and get a queen too.
Right, the queen, yeah,
so
turn.
Queen, Ace King, and then you can hit a 10 for a straight.
Right. The queen brought a bunch of outs,
Yeah.
Good point. How did I think I asked you this last time we talked. How did Train come about?
Oh God, that story goes way back, and I think we're gonna need some more of Art's wine if we're really gonna get into too deep.
I mean, I don't want to bore the audience because you obviously commentate here all the time. Have they heard the story time and time again?
I don't necessarily think so. I think that's a story that may not quite qualify for Stones Live. It may take it to the next, maybe up to PG-13 level, maybe R rating. So we'll catch up on that later.
Reed Ski says, "Hey Tuckman, take the jersey off, dude. I bleed green, okay? We suck. I know we do. I'm not going to take it. They're terrible. They're a bad team."
Even JFK hopping in here saying, "Do you think Justin's uncomfortable with David leaning up against him?" Actually, I'm more comfortable with David leaning up against me. So thank you for bringing that up. It's good. Oh, he's so tuckered out.
Johnny's got Shane just doubles up with 6s
and then runs his jacks into aces.
But you're looking down at your Shane. You're like, oh my God, I just picked up jacks.
I'm going on a heater.
The crazy thing is, if he were to double up again with jacks, he'd be back up to 200,000 and be right back in it.
Yeah.
That's how crazy No Limit Hold'em is. But unfortunately for him, there's just very little chance that frankly, he shouldn't get away from the sand.
No, he's not. Yeah, no, he's not going to. Are you kidding me? No way.
He's got 8 big blinds with jacks.
Yeah, done. Those chips are already in the pot, and he hasn't even known it yet.
No, I'm not used to it.
I gotta tell you, I'm a little disappointed, Veronica. I didn't see Veronica this weekend.
What? What's up with that?
I don't know.
Well, she's busy, you know. She's so busy.
I come up like so rarely, and one time I come up, she's just too busy for us.
You know, Veronica's got nothing left, but at least she's here trolling us in the live stream, and that's really, we could only hope for that. See, and all the wine, just so much wine. She calls it mom juice. Doesn't matter whether it comes in a bottle, a box. Doesn't matter.
Right. And there's the shove from Shane, and then just
Insta-call.
Tough way to get knocked out here, but.
Wow.
I think he got the get out of jail free card with the ace queen where he could have gotten away from it, and he lost an extra 134,000 where he didn't need to.
So 895 here on the flop.
How about a 10 for a sweat?
Yeah, a 10 for a sweat, right? Oh, what was that? Oh, 10 for a sweat. There we go. 7 jack queen. Oh, he gets it, Shane, you dirty dog.
Shane's down to 193.
What a beast. What a beast.
By the way, this is one of those weird spots where, the guy with aces goes, oh my God, how unlucky I am.
Yeah.
But you don't realize, if you reverse the cards, the same thing happens.
Exactly.
And then, this is not, I feel like if Johnny Trips were to say, or if you're one of those guys who says you got unlucky because your aces got sucked out on, my argument would be to you that Shane just got as unlucky to be dealt jacks when you were dealt aces.
Exactly.
It's just a kind of weird way to look at it.
Maybe Johnny Trips, maybe the names comes from other people hitting trips on him, because, ouch.
Now Roger is our short stack.
I believe so.
Can I get service on 11, please?
Local Terror says Johnny Trips got tripped on. But I'm bump. And the hits just keep on rolling. We're here. We are here every Sunday night.
All night, ladies and gentlemen. Tip your waitress.
Hey, where can people follow you on Twitter?
They can follow me at FatTrain right there on Twitter, and they can follow you at Tuck on Sports.
Right.
Make sure you do it, and I believe they can also follow you on Twitch, correct? Tuck on Sports?
I'm very needy. If you want a heart on me, I'd really appreciate it.
He's got a lot of heart, guys, so help him out. Click it. His heart can always get bigger.
Oh, Veronica loves me.
Aww.
Either that or she just knows I'm needy. Probably more likely.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Either way. Levels are 40 minutes long, right?
They are.
Yes.
They are. Actually,
I know that much.
are they?
Yeah.
Then I'm in. I'm a believer.
Isn't your normal Sunday tournament 40-minute levels?
40 or 30. Yesterday we had 30 minutes.
I know yesterday was 30 because it was more of a turbo, but I thought today was 40. We'll find out in 10 minutes, but I would say I'm 92% sure that it's 40.
Ooh, I'll take the 8%. Let's see what happens. Ryan, for a list of games currently running at Stones, Stones has a brand new smartphone app available in the Google Play Store and the iOS Apple Store.
Wait. What are you missing out there?
We have an app.
Wait, Stone's Gambling Hall has an app?
You got it. You can log in. You can link it over
That's
your player's card.
crazy.
You can put your name on the board remotely. It syncs
Wait,
up with
I can
your
just
phone.
take my phone
Yep.
and I can download the Stone's Gambling app, and then while I'm driving, let's say, okay, I take a shower, I can check and see who's who's there.
Absolutely.
And then I can put myself on the board while I'm home and then drive in.
Done. Do it. Get in here.
Drop the mic.
You can check out the menu. You can check out our tournaments. You can get directions. You can do all sorts of fun stuff.
That is crazy. Are there bikini pictures of you?
That is coming in the next update.
Cool.
Because we're just rolling this out. We can't give everybody all the stuff they want at once.
Right. Harry's our chip leader, David right behind him, Jeff H very healthy, and then we've got a bunch of medium and then short stacks. As you can see, Roger on about 11 and a half big blinds. We are 8-handed. All these players guaranteed $1,505, or, as I found out today, the price of a used Super Checks hockey bubble game.
It's happening. You're going to get one of those is in your near future.
If anybody is thinking about buying me a birthday present, my birthday is in December. I would love a Super Checks Super Hockey game.
Just throwing that out there.
Put it out there.
Guys, go to eBay. It's real easy. Just click buy it now, and then he'll give you his address. You can just ship it right to him. It's good. Just a little thank you card. Thanks for being you. Tuck on Sports. Good times. Yeah. Over to Harry here.
Poker Pro Eric says, if Tuck is on the board, the app will crash with people trying to sign up for the game. True story. By the way, Poker Pro, man, I was here, I played yesterday here, and I was here today. So I am always putting my money on the line. And I'll be doing that in Southern California very shortly as well. You can follow me at Tuck on Sports, and I'll tell you exactly where I'm playing every day.
Look at this.
If you want to get some Tuck money.
All right, we got a couple limpers going around to Shane here on the button. And he is coming in as well, looks like, for 10K. Wow, a couple limpers. Check this out. This is a big old family pot. I know.
I thought maybe somebody would be like, you know what, there's just too much dead money in there. I'm going to go for it.
Yeah.
Ace, ace, six, and not surprisingly, nobody has an ace. Got a couple players with sixes here.
3 players have a 6. That is the K6 that you just saw there.
Yeah, this one of the 6s in the big blind, one on the button. Now you might see Shane bet this if it checks around to him. But Roger Bailey is going to take a shot at it. The guy who has really no chips to make this play, he's going to go for it.
Yeah.
He just thinks, you know what, nobody's got a big hand here. The likelihood of anybody having an ace, very small, nobody raised. And I think it was Roger, wasn't it?
Actually, it might have been David here.
It says David?
Well, we're going to catch up on the action
thought it was,
track. Yeah, no, David checks. It was Roger. You're correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. In all fairness, I don't know anybody at this table except Roger.
Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking, hey, Roger, you're doing this. Going around, and he looks like he might get away with this here.
Well, I mean, I think one of the 6s would call, but we'll see. You'd think one of the 6s would call. No, he's gonna get this through. That's huge.
That's
by the way.
huge pot.
Huge.
A huge, like a multi-way limp pot like that to just take it down.
He just went from short stack to like 6th and chips.
Yeah, that was an extra. I mean, that's a 100K takedown right there.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Give him credit. I mean, that's not easy. When you only have 100,000 chips to risk a quarter.
Because, I mean, let's face it, if anybody did limp the ace, they're waiting for him to make that exact move. So it was really nice that he could get that through.
Well, the only players that could theoretically have an ace in their range, you'd think, would be like small blind and maybe early position players. Because you would imagine that the players in late position would have raised with an ace.
Exactly. And I think that was part of Roger's thinking, is that nobody did. I mean, somebody would have raised with any sort of ace at this point, especially in the later positions. So the fact that it was checked all the way around and no raising pre-flop, I'm really not seeing ace potential out there.
Jimmy Bluffett says, if you slug Tuck, this is to you, I will send you a beer. Wow, I thought Jimmy and I were friends.
I thought we were cool, not in the trust tree, the nest, were we not?
No, but I mean, there are people that will troll, but I thought Jimmy Bluffett and I were friends.
No. Apparently you were friends, but like anything happens over a beer, so.
No, but he's not even getting a beer out of this. He just wants you to hit me so he can send you a beer.
It depends on the beer. It's gotta be worth it.
Yeah, good point.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you're not going to do it for like a Milwaukee's Best.
No, hey.
Right. Would you do it for like a...
I think we have to go based on like alcohol percentage. It's got to be like 9%.
Oh, okay.
Or better.
Like, would you do it for like a Stones IPA?
Well, I mean, we are at Stones, so technically...
Like a 7.2% Stones IPA?
That's borderline. It's a coin flip.
How is Stones Brewery not one of the sponsors of Stones Gambling?
That's a good question. If you guys are listening out there, we need to get you guys on board, seriously. Stones on Stones.
Jimmy Bluffett says, apparently is joking around.
All right, so now even the shortest stack here, Barry at 123, followed up by Roger at 157. That shows you how big that pot was to take down for Roger.
Oh, huge.
Because 157, I mean, that was a 100K pot. He would have been on life support right now.
Yeah, you've really got to toe the line between being aggressive and surviving in this, especially with so many short stacks.
Yeah.
This is a really fluid situation. Now, what I would do, and this is not necessarily for everybody, it depends on, what your financial situation is, but the pay jumps between 8th and 7th and 6th aren't that large. The money really is in the top 3 spots.
Yes.
And so because the play at this table tends to be a little bit passive, and you're not surprised by that, I might play it a little bit more aggressively now and try to exploit my opponent's passivity and build up stacks, because I really think you can go from 150 to 450 like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like snap.
Yeah.
You win a couple of hands, a couple of guys fold, you move all in a couple of times. Like, I mean, to me, like, when this folds to Jeff H in the big blind, kapoosh. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and even if everybody folds, there's already 23K of dead money to pick up in every pot anyways, just between the blinds and ante.
Yeah, and see, this is easy. Barry raising on the button. This is by the way, you can't do this for Barry. I don't try to be negative, and he has 112,000 chips. 6-5 of diamonds on the button, just shove.
Yeah.
Go all in. You don't want to get called, and you really don't want to call off.
And yeah, exactly. And the thing is, if your opponent, if when they call you, if your opponent gets any piece of that flop, you don't have enough for a scare factor after that, really.
Now this is what's going to end up happening is Harry's probably going to fold, I would think. Jeff H is going to move all in, and then Barry's going to be like, now I'm getting a good price. Do I call? Do I not call? Now, Barry was not getting this shoved through no matter what.
Yeah.
But 6-5 of diamonds, it's either a fold or a shove. But I do think it's a good enough hand that you can shove this. You're going to get your opponents to fold a lot, and when they don't fold, you still have live cards.
Yeah. And so this is obviously going down right here. So now we action back over to Barry.
And this is the problem. I mean, Barry has now put in 3.5 big blinds.
Exactly.
To fold.
Yeah. And so Jeff's going to take it down. And
that's like subscribing to the Phil Hellmuth School of Short Stack Poker.
No, but you're absolutely right. He wasn't going to get that shoved through either way. I mean, but in that regard, he took a stab, and yeah, it just wasn't going to work for him.
Right.
And it is tough too when you have just such astronomically chipped players behind you. Trying to steal it from them is tough, because I mean, they can call your all in, and it's not really even that big of a deal.
Pardon me. That said, I don't think Harry or Barry were going to. I'm sorry, Harry or Dave?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Jeff.
Jeff, thank you, Harry. I don't think either one actually was going to call him very light. I mean, King 9, really close.
Yeah.
I mean, King 9 against a button shove is, against a 10 big blind button shove might be a playable hand. Mm-hmm. Ace Queen obviously is, but I'm not sure. I'm not convinced either one of those players is going to call 11 big blinds lightly. I just say you shove the 6-5, you probably win the pot without seeing a flop 70% of the time. The other 30% of the time, Okay, you're up against Ace Queen. You're up against Ace
Yeah,
Jack.
you have 2 life cards, that's for sure.
He's only a 2-to-1 dog.
Yeah.
The only play you can't do there is raise fold.
Yeah.
You can't, that's the one you don't want to do that.
Because and even then, after you raise fold, you're even on more life support. You know?
Now he's got 8 bigs.
Yeah, now you're really in all inner fold mode.
By the way, tomorrow, very exciting. Lon McCarran. And the great Veronica Brill.
The ever so loving Angry Polak.
Yes. So we've got an Angry Polak with Lon McCarran. They'll be here tomorrow. They'll be covering and commentating on the final table of the 6 Max tournament. So check that out. Next weekend, by the way, super exciting. Our main event here is going on, and the main event is off the hook. Where is that?
Got it.
Okay, so the main event.
3 starting flights.
3 starting days. The buy-in is only at $450. Okay, guys. Guarantee of $125,000. And based on what I have seen from this week and what I have seen from Justin Curitis, they're going to shatter that.
Absolutely.
They're going to shatter the
The
125.
guarantee is an eighth of a million, guys. I mean, come on down. Get your piece.
I would be surprised if we didn't hit 200.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a guarantee. The guarantee is 125, but I'd be surprised if we didn't hit 200.
I remember last time we had
40-minute levels, so it's a really nice tournament. And the final day of that is Sunday, October 2nd. Chris Moneymaker, that's right.
the one, the only.
Right. The man that some people will say is partly responsible
For the poker boom.
For the poker boom.
Absolutely.
Will be commentating on that final table. That is next Sunday, October 2nd. Check that out, guys.
Along with the one and only bearded Jake Rosensteel, the Wonder. That should be some interesting commentary, for sure.
Starting stack 15,000 chips, guys, for the main event. Starting stack for this tournament also is 15,000. So you get plenty of chips, you get plenty of play, 40-minute levels. Like I said, guys, if you have not checked out Stone's Gambling Hall, I don't say this lightly, honestly. You know, there are times where I'm paid to do jobs and I'm like, oh yeah, this place is great, blah, blah, blah. I don't really say that. I mean, if you guys follow me, like, no BS. Stone's Gambling Hall is legit. The food here, I don't even have to use the disclaimer of like it's good for a casino.
Well, you know, and no, it's true. And I'll tell you what, like,
It's
yesterday,
good.
playing in the Monster Stack, there was a lot of players that drove up from the Bay Area, and a lot of players that were here for their very first time, and they were blown away. They were like, I really just don't see establishments of this sort of caliber and quality, like anywhere outside of pretty much Vegas. So, you know,
And this is the 100% truth. If I did not have a 3-year-old, you know, and it was just me and my girl at home, if I didn't have a 3-year-old, I would probably come up here once or twice a month.
I'm in. Tuck and sack. Let's do it.
But yeah, I mean, I do have a kid, and
So Shane, back on the pocket pair train here, picks up kings under the gun.
man, King's going around.
Yeah, raises to 42K. Over to Roger Bailey in the small blind. He's out of there, and
Nobody's
LT's,
calling
yeah,
this.
LT's checking out as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nobody's gonna call this. These raise sizes are enormous, like 4x, 3x, like.
4.2x. Now our blinds guys, they did just go up here. It looks like they're 6 and 12K now, and with a 2K ante, so even more out there to take.
What's up, 1776 Freedom Fighter? Please fold. Jimmy Bluffett, Flat Caller, Nightbot. Nightbot's my good friend of mine. Not Nice Mice, all in there. Thank you so much for joining us here on your Sunday night. Yeah, and these raise sizes, pre-flop raise sizes, I just don't think I don't think you need to bet that much.
You think you can get the same point across with a slightly smaller raise and essentially risk less?
Well, at the end of the day, what are we trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
That's the question you have to ask yourself.
I feel if you're putting in these large 4x raises, the one guy who's going to come over the top of you generally will have you crushed.
Well, straight out of it, I'll ask you, what are we trying to accomplish when we raise, generally? You know, we
You
want
want
action,
someone to
or we want to just take from the blinds and antes.
Yeah.
Either way, I think we can accomplish that with a smaller raise size. Blinds are 612. I think my raise size is probably closer to 32,000.
Yeah. Basically 2x plus some change, right? You know?
Like I said, earlier on in the tournament, when players are a lot deeper, when the stacks are deeper relative to the blinds, I might make my pre-flop raises bigger, especially if a well-respected player, a player I respect is the big blind, and I know he likes to defend his big blind.
Of course.
For example.
And we see that a lot,
Right.
too.
For example, let's just say Fedor Holz is in the big blind, and I'm raising from hijack.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make it 2x because he's going to defend
Yeah.
a lot, and I don't really want to play a hand against him. So I'm
And
going to
even
charge
if you
him.
have a monster, he's going to feel like you're always just making a move because
Well,
he's always going to defend his mind.
Well, even if he thinks I'm making a move, I need to stay balanced with my monsters and my other hands
Yeah.
that I'm raising with. And frankly, if I'm only making it 2x or 2 times the big blind, I'm giving him the correct price to defend. So I don't really want to give Fedor the correct price to defend.
Yeah.
But against most other poker players, especially when you're shallow, and the average stack right now, we've talked about it, is like, what, 27 big blinds? You can make it to 2.5x and accomplish that. Because guys are not going to defend their big blind lightly in this case.
So check this out. So Harry makes a raise with 9-10. Shane actually defends his big blind and calls the raise as well with the same 9-10.
That's fun.
Yeah, both players pretty much whiffed this flop. Shane first to act. This might be the power position here, especially since Harry was the original aggressor.
I mean, it's a pretty dry flop. I think this is a really easy c-bet situation.
Yeah, and I think Shane's just going to check out here. He doesn't really have enough to get flashy.
It's just on a dry board like this, there's no suits. It's a board that's very unlikely to have helped your opponent. And if it's not going to help your, then you could.
King 5-8 Rainbow is it's pretty dry.
Right. I mean, it's just a flop. It's a flop. The texture of that flop favors the pre-flop raiser, and not the caller.
Please Fold had said earlier that my June wouldn't be the same without your WSOP streams. So thank you for that.
Oh, what did he say?
He said his June wouldn't be the same without your WSOP streams.
Hey, thanks, Please Fold, man. I really appreciate that, buddy. Honestly, I really enjoy doing that. It's awesome.
Looks like Splick10 played with you earlier. Says, I hope my money treats you well. Talk, man. It was fun playing with you earlier at the 2-5 game.
Thank you, Splick10. Which seat were you in, Splick10? Yeah, I played 2-5 after. So I came in this morning at about 10:30 to watch football, and then a 2-5 game spread about noon or so, 11:30. I jumped in the game and watched the Jet game. So while the Jets were having a terror, I ran pretty hot and had a good little 3-hour, 4-hour session.
So let me ask you this: since you were here, we have football, we have stones. What'd you think about the touchdown splash pots?
That's cool.
That's rad, right? I mean, they pick a few games,
I'll put
and
it
then,
this way.
every time there's
free money.
Touchdown, they just come out and they throw racks on racks in the middle of your game.
I don't know who doesn't like free money.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't like that, you're in the wrong place. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's free. I mean, it's free. Somebody scores a touchdown and they throw $200 in the pot.
Money. Yeah, and I think somebody was saying like one of the first weeks or two they did that. They picked some pretty juicy games. They ended up giving away like almost $3 grand in splash pot money.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like under the gun here we got Barry shoving the Queen Jack. Johnny Trips is now thinking about it. And he's going to make the call. So we have a race.
Yeah, and this is just a situation. It's a stack situation thing where, Johnny Trips he feels like he's forced to call. The problem is Johnny Trips, I do think he needed to call with that hand. By the way, Barry's got a spade. That's not a spade.
Yeah.
Tell you, the dealer, just no sense of drama, just put it out there.
Boom, boom. And that's a world of outs because he could have hit a jack, queen, 10, or spade to pick up that pot. So Barry,
or 9.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. See, world of outs and nothing.
9,
that's
queen,
a problem.
jack,
when
10.
you get too many outs, you're going to miss.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how that goes.
Jimmy Bluntman says, talking about how the Jets are the most polarizing team in the NFL. I don't think it's that polarizing. I mean, I think Jet fans love the Jets, but we know they aren't very good.
Yeah.
And I think non-Jet fans just laugh at them.
So we are going to say goodbye to, I believe it was that Barry there? I believe that was Barry, and he's going to go out in 8th place for $1,505.
You want to write that down?
Yeah.
Yeah, split 10. So split 10 was on my direct left. And I got lucky against him. I mean, we got a couple of situations where he got coolered. We both had trips. I had a better kicker than him.
Oh, yeah.
Check raised him. I thought I had a better kicker than him, and I got that. And then another situation where on a 3, 4, 5, 6 board, I had 7, 8, and he had a 7.
Oh, the one up.
And I got it all.
Oh, the end one's
I got lucky. I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
I thought Split was a good player. It was a tough day for him.
The good old nut to second nut. What else are you going to do?
JCW Poker says splash pots and no limit is the nut low. I suppose if you don't like free money, JCW, I don't understand that.
All right, over to Harry.
I mean, to me, Splash pots are so amazing in No Limit Hold'em because number one, A, there's free money. Number two, pair of threes right now, best hands. Number two, it could induce your opponents to play really bad.
It always induces. It's an action inducer. I mean, that's what it does. And I mean, sometimes it depends. I mean, sometimes in the live stream, sometimes in the splash pots, they change it to limit. But sometimes I think in the live stream they've kept it as no limit. But either way, I mean, there's so much automatic pot value there that it causes people to play a little wacky. You know?
Well, anytime, like I said, anytime you can induce your opponents to play wacky, in your words, I think it's a brilliant thing. Honestly, I don't see any negative to it. I mean, it's kind of like making a huge straddle pot, but nobody else is putting the money in except the casino.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great. By the way, this is a situation, same situation. So imagine
exactly what we're talking about.
Splick. Imagine Splick had 6s here, and I have 7-6. It's just, you got the absolute stone cold nuts.
So Shane just super binks the monster here against Johnny Trips. So Johnny Trips got a pair and a redraw.
Now this is a situation where I am raising. Like a lot of times in a situation like this, I'm not raising, but I'm raising here for 3 reasons. Number one, if my opponent has an ace, if my opponent has an ace, he's not going to fold right away. If my opponent has a 6, he's certainly not going to fold. I'm going to
get it, yeah. And that's what he's doing.
And also, I don't know if I'm going to jam. I don't know if I need to jam this, but if my opponent has spades or hearts, I want to charge him.
Yeah.
So I might make it. He bet 35. The all-in was only 120, so it's not awful. I might have actually just clicked it back to him. Make it 75, just so he can't fold.
Yeah. Make it just too cheap to not go away.
Right.
You know.
I mean, he's so shallow that I don't mind the shove at all.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, and you get to a point to where you're so shallow that if you do click back with a min raise or something, it almost even looks more fishy because it's why wouldn't you just jam it? Why would you? I mean, you know what I mean?
To be honest, I'm not really quite sure why Johnny Trips is betting the turn. I mean, unless he's turning his hand into a bluff, and if he is turning his hand into a bluff, he just needs to fold now.
Yeah.
Because he had a pair of 3s, so he's got a little bit of showdown value. But frankly, I mean, his hand is really a check fold.
Yeah, I mean, his 3 is irrelevant. He's on a draw. He's on literally a gut shot draw, and he knows it. And it just at this point, he's just weighing call versus stack size, and he's gone. Yeah, he's checking out.
Yeah.
So talk about Shane from the ace-queen mishap, the very first hand, to this massive stack rebuild.
And that's how quick it can happen. I mean, No Limit Hold'em is crazy. Obviously, I've commentated on a lot of final tables, and I have seen guys. People say the chip a chair thing, and some people are like, "Oh, come on." I've seen it.
Absolutely.
And I've seen it. I've seen guys win Latin American Poker Tour. I've seen guys win World Series events.
Oh yeah.
Literally from a half a big blind.
They barely had enough to cover the ante, but they're like, whatever. At least I'm gonna quintuple up when I do get it.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, if you only have half a big blind, when you move all in, you are going to quintuple up.
And the thing is, there's going to be a lot of callers, and they're generally going to do, a lot of times they do the tournament thing where, hey, we're going to try to knock out this player, so they end up checking it down. But as long as you can survive that one hand, I mean, you're going to get chipped up.
Well,
then
honestly,
you survive that, then you double, and then all of a sudden, you're back in it.
You've got to get lucky.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you don't have to get, people always think oh, I'm going to get lucky 6 times. No. Look at Shane. Shane won the 6s versus Ace King.
Yeah.
Then he won Jacks.
Yeah.
And frankly, he could have had Jacks versus 9s and won that anyway. And suddenly now, I mean, I want to say he's probably mid-stack.
And then he had enough of a stack to actually maneuver around and play a little poker, and now, boom. Now we're at where we're at with Shane, which is, $250,000 in chips.
So a raise here from Roger, under the gun +1. I like the aggressive play. I don't like the position that he's in to do this in. I don't think he has enough chips. I like the sizing, by the way. He makes it 2.5x. I don't think he has enough chips, though, to risk it with ace-deuce. Now, it may or may not work here. The problem is he just doesn't. He's in a situation where he really needs to wait for one hand, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Or a better position. If he was in the cutoff and he just shoves all in with the ace, okay.
Yeah. The all-in or fold. Now Johnny Trips waking up with a pocket pair here on the button.
I think this is a fairly easy, 3-bet.
And he's actually not going to 3-bet. Looks like he's just going to flat call.
Let's see how Roger proceeds here if he misses. I mean, is he going to barrel here? This is really tough.
And I mean, really, he's got one move. Oh, and looks like Jeff H is also going to make the call.
Johnny cannot fold if it's only one overcard. Okay,
Roger's getting it in there for sure.
Yeah, he is, and Johnny's not going to love it, but Johnny can't fold, I don't think. I mean, he's got a gut shot. He may still have the best hand.
And look at the odds, actually. I mean, so Jeff obviously at the 2%, but Roger and Johnny Trips, almost a coin flip between the two of them here with this flop.
Well, I mean, Roger's got an overcard with the flush draw, so he's got 12 clean outs. We can see that Johnny's got one of the spades, which gives him 11 outs. But when Jeff gets out of the way,
all of it in.
Yeah, that's a play. I mean, if you're going to raise the ace deuce and you flop this, you just shove it in.
Yeah. I mean, best case scenario, everybody just goes away. Worst case scenario, somebody looks you up. At least you have a ton of outs to spike.
Yeah, this is the problem with playing eights this way. You're just too shallow to set mine. And if you play eights in this particular manner, you put yourself in a position where you're just going to get outplayed. You're just guessing game.
Yeah.
Does he have ace king?
Yeah.
Does he have spades? Does he have queen? Does he have queen 10? Like, what kind of hand does he have here? Or are my eights still good? Now, if he gets it in pre, first of all, it wasn't even for his whole stack. So just like, I think he needed to gamble there with the eights a little bit. Play that hand a little bit more aggressively.
And this is for about 40% of Johnny Tripp's stack, so it's not like it's just it's a light call and whatever. If he calls and loses here, he's going to be on the shorter end of chips for sure. And he's getting away from it. So Jeff H clearly gone.
Yeah, and it's a huge win for Roger Bailey.
Huge win.
Huge win. He's now won 2 pots without making a hand.
Come on, I clap for it. Give it to me, please.
It's a good play by him.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the pre-flop raise. I think from under the gun +1, I think ace deuce is probably a muck. But it worked out well for him.
Yeah, that gives Roger a little life. Roger and Shane now both sitting right around that same mark, like the 230, 250K range.
First place, $13,000. Second place, $7,700. All these players guaranteed $2,007.
$2,007. And I believe the Taxman threshold is 5K plus the original price of the buy-in. So it looks like all of these guys, except for second place, are going to fade the Taxman, and that's always a win. It's true. Because anything under 5K plus the buy-in, so what, 53.50 or whatever the buy-in was?
I've never heard that.
Oh yeah, that's how it goes here. Anyway.
We don't really fade the Taxman.
Well, you can.
I mean, here at Stone's Gambling and everywhere in the world, we encourage you. You have to pay. You pay taxes on all your earnings.
Of course, every single dollar.
But that's up to you, obviously.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm not going to hold that. I'm not going to hold that. That's not on me to say.
Right.
But I know that yesterday there was one of the places was $35 over the tax limit. So I'm like, if you guys vote in to pay the bubble, you should definitely take $35 at least off that one spot.
Yeah.
It was like $55.35. It's like, okay, well, $35 has to come off that.
But we're listening to them, and they're literally saying nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Can I take this out of my ear then?
Yeah, sure. You don't like the chip sound? It doesn't make you feel at home?
We're in the casino. I can still hear the chip sound. I'm deaf, but I'm not that deaf.
Isn't that funny where essentially what can happen is if you've ever answered the phone or something or somebody gives you a call.
No, I kind of like it. You're right.
See, it's nice, right? It's relaxed, it's peaceful, it's zen.
Yeah, it is kind of zen.
Well, it is funny because, sometimes these guys will get in pot and you'll hear them, you really start table talking and then it gets interesting quickly.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is in a tournament, it's not in a cash game, you really are free to do as much table talk as you want.
Yeah.
In a tournament, you aren't. There are the TDA rules.
Absolutely.
And Stones does abide by those. So it's one of the reasons why there just isn't much talking.
Yeah. LT's checking out over Shane. He's gone as well. Johnny Trips now over to Harry here in the cutoff. Our big stack here, he's going to look down at Queen 3. He's gone, as is Jeff. And you have the Battle of the Blinds.
There's nothing hotter than two blind people battling
it
out.
Just going at it.
Yeah.
And it looks like he is just going to do a min. Is it a min raise?
No, he
called.
He limped in. Wow, what a flop here. This is a tough flop because Roger's going to. I mean, flopping a pair in a heads-up pot, it's hard to get away from it.
And there's 40K out there to take.
Yeah, and if you're Roger, you can bet like 22-ish, 18-ish, somewhere in that range. Try to take it just like, okay, cool. See if I can just win it now. Don't give my opponent my free equity. Mm. Obviously, David's not going anywhere.
No.
I assume.
Yeah. Does the double look back? Especially with David's stack size, too. He's got about double where Roger's sitting right now.
He flopped top pair. and a blind on blind.
No, exactly.
I mean,
And nobody raised. You can't ever put Roger on having a queen, especially a queen with a bigger kicker.
yeah, I don't really like. He just called. Okay.
Did flat.
Oh,
Roger gets there.
and Roger spikes 2 pair.
Now that could force David. Oh, and then David's going to take the line to start betting, so this is going to cost him a little bit.
Well, he doesn't want to let it go check on the turn.
Of course.
So I don't hate check call lead out play. The problem, of course, is that Rogers made a bigger 2 pair. A 2 pair. I'm just calling this if I'm Roger, I think.
All in. But I guess that's why we didn't make the final table yesterday.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, there's some value to just taking the pot down and not letting your opponent get there, I guess.
And that was a pretty quick fold by David. There was like zero hesitation there. He was just like, okay, fine, you got it, bye.
Yeah, and there's a lot of draws out there. I mean, that's a wet board.
Yeah.
2 diamonds, 2 spades, straight draws, flush draws, abundant. Roger's capable of having some sort of weird draw there. Mm-hmm. And frankly, maybe he moves all in with a big draw.
Yeah. I mean, that whole hand played out. David kind of played it pretty soft, and at the end of the day, he wasn't too deeply invested in it. I don't think he wanted to just step on his own chip stack by, okay, I call, and okay, you're way ahead, I'm crushed. Damn it.
This is, of course, $350 buy-in tournament, $40,000 guarantee. This is the Stones Fall Classic. Justin Kelly, David Tuckman here.
We have another event tomorrow. We have a 6 max tomorrow, and then we have the main event coming up starting this Thursday. So definitely be here, catch one of those flights, catch a couple of those flights. It's going to be a good time.
I went to downtown Sacramento last night for the first time, and then I went to Old Sac.
Sac today, yeah.
And I will say, cool little spot.
Yeah, right. It's cool to walk around down there. I mean, it's very, yeah.
Nice. 1776 Freedom Fighter wanted to know if I'm drinking milk. I'm having a chai latte.
Brought to you by Starbucks and Sarah, apparently.
Yes.
So thank you, Sarah.
Cheers. So you got a raise here from Jeff H. and a cutoff. This is a cutoff raise. If I'm David, I'm going to 3-bet this. Like I said, I mean, obviously it's not going to work for him, but, we're getting shorter here. I want to put pressure on the other stacks. You can really leverage your stack against your opponents. Jeff H is putting it, like, if Jeff H makes it 35,000, if you're David, if you make it 90,000 here, 85,000, Jeff H really only can either fold or shove.
Yeah.
And
you're Roger here, and Roger clearly is thinking, what do I raise here? I believe did he say all in?
No, he probably just 3-bet. I might, this is crazy. I know this is crazy talk. I might just move all in if I was him. It's a big shove.
But it might look super fishy.
Well, that's the thing. Think about it. He just 3-bet to 140. Anybody with half a brain knows he's pot committed, right?
Exactly. So
does the shove look weaker
I
and
totally
maybe
agree with
induce
you.
a call
totally
from
agree with
like maybe sevens actually calls a shove.
Yeah.
But doesn't call now.
Exactly. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, if he has like an ace rag suited or something, he's maybe just looking to make a move or looking to pick up this pot. The opportunity for it to look halfway bluffy is only there if he jams it, as opposed to 3-betting and essentially automatically committing yourself. That looks much stronger than the all-in shove. I totally agree.
Vocal Terror wanted to know if I caught Pokemon in Old Sac. I am not on the Pokemon bandwagon, guys.
Thank God.
Don't have the app. Don't even know what it is. I've seen it and I've seen people do it, but yeah, it's not my thing.
Seen people do it as they're running out in front of your car and you're slamming on
Right.
the brakes.
It's not my thing. 3s in the muck, and I mean, frankly, David's in a tough spot. I sense that David is somewhat of a passive player. Roger might end up going from the short stack to winning this tournament.
Yeah.
He has been by far the most aggressive player at this table. Now, easy to do that with 2 red queens, but we saw him do it with ace deuce of spades.
Yeah.
We saw him do it with jack 10 of spades on an ace 6 board, and we saw him do it with king 6. I mean, we've seen him play aggressively, and look at this. He is now second in chips.
Oh, he's climbing.
Yeah, he is. Harry, our overwhelming chip leader with 676,000, but again, this is a very fluid situation.
Exactly. We haven't seen a whole lot from Harry, actually. I mean, not a whole lot of pot involvement too much. I mean, I think he raised 1 or 2 pots, took it down, but other than that, not much.
Harry, our resident traffic cone. Buy-in once again $350. We got 163 entries. Prize pool over $50,000.
Down to the final 7. We are just approaching the 12-hour mark. These players are in it to win it.
What's up, Pastor Grits? How are you, my man? Sport Guy 91.
You know that.
Mark 0813. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions for us, you can tweet us, or you can ask us in the chat room.
Absolutely. Our lovely friend Nightbot there. Tell me what's up. So guys, just a quick look at those chips. So you know the pinks are 5K chips, the yellows are 10K chips, and the blacks are 1K chips. I don't see any plaques or tiles like we had yesterday, but those are always fun as well. Those are 25K tiles. Maybe not yet, but if these guys get all the way down to heads up or maybe 3 or 4-handed, we might see some plaques come out.
Flat caller asking if I'll ever play in a cash game here. I promise you I will at some point. It's a matter of coordinating it with my lady and our kid. Like I said, for those of you who know me, know I live in the LA area. So it's just a matter of being able to get up here for a few days, get away from the family, and do it. It might. I'm thinking early 2017.
Yeah,
could make a lot of sense.
Let's do it. Poker Miles, what's up? Watching all the way from Australia. I think you get the longest distance viewer award. Welcome, welcome, my friend. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. Call me JC, says Tuckman, sorry about your Jets, but hope you did well in fantasy this week.
You did edge out your fantasy today, did you not?
Well, I'm in 8 different leagues. I had an okay week.
Of course you're in 8 different leagues.
But I did win. My DraftKings was crushing.
Nice.
And by the way, my weekly podcast every Wednesday night at twitch.tv/TuckOnSports at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we talk poker and we talk DFS. And I have a DFS expert that comes on. Her picks of the week, by the way, we had Marvin Jones on our podcast, and we said you should be pairing Aaron Rodgers with Jordy Nelson. And I had a really good week. I had those two guys. I had Mike Evans and I had Christine Michael. So had a very lucrative day for my DraftKings.
Nice. All right, guys, if you like this tournament action poker, what you're watching, make sure you click that little green heart there in the lower left and subscribe. You can also set a little notification so you get blasted out, email every time we go live. Always good times.
I can't get over the Stones app. And it's one thing, I mean, okay, guys, every business in the world, every casino now has a website, which is not a big deal, okay? That's no big. But to have a website, have an app that you can put on your phone that will tell you what games are being played at the casino, in the poker room, how many players are in each one, and you can see the board.
Boom, there it is, guys.
Where
Stones app.
You can put your name on the list. I can't tell you how annoying it is to go to a poker room. You can call up.
Look at this. I can see the limits right here. I can see how many of each, how many tables
how many
are running
people are
each
waiting.
game, how many people are waiting. I can put my name on the list. That's fantastic.
As a
There's even
professional
an
poker
interest
player,
list for an Omaha game.
As a professional poker player, the most frustrating thing is time. Time is money. And if I have to come to a poker room and sit around for an hour and a half to get into a room, it's annoying.
Yeah.
So here, what I can do is I can put myself on the list. I can get errands done at home. I can go to the post office, go to Starbucks, whatever I want to do. And when I get down to being like next up, boom, head over to Stones, and I'm right in the game. That is, again, I'm not sitting here blowing smoke up. That is a really cool thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. So Harry here, our resident chip leader, who we haven't heard much from, is waking up with queens under the gun. And I think we're catching up here with the action tracker. So it looks like LT jammed all in here, and I believe Harry is going to make this call.
Yeah, Harry, I mean...
That's an easy call for Harry here. He's just worried.
Harry's like, wait a second.
He's like, hold on, guys. I'm ordering food. I'm ordering drinks. I'm figuring stuff out. Give me a minute.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for LT all in. Pay jump between 7th and 6th, $753.
So really, at this point, I think Harry's almost thinking, how do I play this with Jeff behind? Do I want some?
Right. Do I just call or do I 3-bet?
Exactly. Do I want Jeff in here? Do I not want Jeff in here? And in this case, I don't think it really matters. Jeff's checking out anyways.
Well, it's a large enough raise with queens that I think you can actually call with queens and trap your player behind you.
Yeah.
You're not going to get somebody who with a random ace-6 of clubs to come along. Now, if the raise size, if the all-in from LT was like 41,000, then I'm going to 3-bet to like 110.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to make it an insta call.
LT's in trouble here, and that is absolutely no help for him whatsoever.
That's rough. He's going to have to go runner here.
Yeah.
There's 2 perfect ones.
He's drawing dead.
Yeah, toast.
Drawing dead, check mark next to Harry's name, and both players make a flush, but LT's flush not big enough, and he has gone in what?
7th place.
$2,007 in his pocket.
2007. That's it. 350 to 27. 2007. Not bad.
Once again, guys, thanks so much for spending your Sunday night with us. As I mentioned earlier, a tough day for most of you out there. I know most of you, I assume, are Jet fans. So you share in my sadness. You probably lost money on DraftKings or in your fantasy football league.
All of the above.
But hey, join us here. Stick with us. We're going to be here for a few hours, commiserating, crying
together.
Yes.
Comfort
me,
in numbers.
Everybody else.
Comfort in numbers. All right, guys, we are down to the final 6 players here in the Stones Classic Tournament.
We are. I'm pretty excited, by the way. So tomorrow night you can get to listen to Lon McCarron. Lon almost, he's almost never on a live stream. I mean, he's got the contract with ESPN for the World Series. He really can't do anything else. So to have him do a live stream tomorrow is just super cool.
Oh, it's always.
So he's going to be doing it tomorrow night. And then next Sunday to hear Chris Moneymaker.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
It's gonna be good stuff, man.
Yeah,
really good stuff.
I'm a Moneymaker fan.
And also the co-commentators. I mean, let's face it. You pair Lon McCarron, who's awesome in himself. You pair him up with Veronica. That's just entertainment at its finest. And then when you get Moneymaker and you pair him up with Jake does a lot of pretty good, deep analytical stuff as well. And I think that's going to also be a fantastic combo. So really don't miss these couple streams coming up. It goes back to click that heart because we are on the schedule of when these players decide to take it down to the final table. So at the end of the day, by clicking on that heart and subscribing to us, you'll get a notification when we go live and it's time to party.
Right, you don't have to guess. You can just be like, oh, it's on. Cool, it's on.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Like us earlier, we're like, when are we going live? I don't know, whenever these guys decide
You can even
knocking each other out.
If you download the Twitch app, you can actually watch this on your phone too.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Pretty sweet.
Johnny Trips waking up with kings.
Yeah, Lon's a legend. And Lon is so good that you can... He actually will make up for Veronica Brill's mediocrity. I mean, that's...
Sick burn. I got some cold water for that burn, Veronica, if you need that. That's...
On a serious note, I'm actually kind of shocked. I don't think anybody's going to play this. Well, we'll see what Johnny Trips does, but then once he 3-bets, I think everybody else is folding. They just announced the Hall of Fame nominations.
Okay.
And, a good friend of mine and Matt Savage was nominated again.
Okay, cool.
I recently had him on my podcast. We talked about it, and I'm thrilled that he got nominated. I think there's a lot of momentum for him to get in this time, and I think he's very deserving. And on that same note, I think about Lon McCarron, and I think it's overdue.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when you start thinking about, the great poker players in the game, and then you start thinking about the people that have helped poker to become what it is today.
Of course.
And you think of Chris Moneymaker. We think of, the Binion family. You think of Matt Savage. We think of all of these people out there, Mike Sexton. Mm-hmm. And Lon McCarron has to be in that group at this point.
I said, literally the voices of poker. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is.
He is. He is somebody that, growing up, I watched him play. I watched him, do his thing, and I learned a lot about being a broadcaster from watching him. And I can tell you, over the years, I've become friends with him, and he has a class act, and I consider him a good friend. And like I said, I am 100% behind getting Lon McCarron in the Hall of Fame.
And and I love that Lon is he's a total local regular here at Stones all the time. I absolutely love him. Super nice guy.
Super humble.
Super humble. Super nice guy. I mean, I have seen nothing but smiles.
Well, when it comes to poker, he has every reason to be super humble.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But I mean, it's nothing but smiles and good times with Lon at the table, and it's that way every time you see him. He always brings his cool little dog. He's out there on the break walking his dog, hanging out. I mean, super personable.
This is a nice shove by Shane. Not messing around. He's got about 12 and a half big blinds. And this is the kind of hand where you don't want to shove, get raised all in, and then have to call off. Have the power of, he can get like pocket deuces, pocket threes, hands like that to fold.
Yeah.
that he really doesn't want to make a move on him. And frankly, that's just a really smart shove by him. Nice play.
So a quick view of these stack sizes here when they were on the screen. So we have Harry as our big dog here with almost 1 million in chips approaching.
Harry's the guy in the orange, by the way, guys.
Yeah, so every single other player besides Shane here in seat 2 has in the 300K range, and then Shane has, like, I think 190 or something now. So, I mean, everybody very evenly stacked for the most part, with Harry with a huge dominating stack over everybody else.
The average stack is about 33 big blinds right now, so we're not short. I mean, we have some room to play poker.
Yeah.
Now, as long as players are making it 4x pre-flop, we don't have as much room.
yeah, your room diminishes a
Right.
little bit.
It's one of the reasons why you kind of want to make it 2x or 2.5x. Gives you a little bit more maneuverability post-flop.
Yeah.
For those of you just joining us, thanks so much. David Tuckman, Justin Kelly here. We are here for the Stones Fall Classic. $350 got you in. 163 players whittled down to just 6. All these players guaranteed $2,760. Justin, you did not play today. We both played yesterday. Both of us bubbled yesterday.
And yesterday we had 205 players total.
Right, and I got knocked out somewhere around 43rd, 42nd. You got knocked out 25th.
Yay.
With 24 people cashing. So
Yay.
I was like, not really bubble. He was Mr. Bubble.
Yeah, I was super bubble, Mr. Bubbles. Somebody's got to be that guy. I guess that guy was me yesterday.
Yeah, somebody's always got to be that guy. Roger raises, and Roger continues to be aggressive from up front. Something that I don't dislike this as much as we get shorter. Because keep in mind, when we're 6-handed, under the gun is kind of low jack, same as the low jack. So I didn't like it when we were. It might be a little bit too loose from under the gun, but players are playing so passively that I kind of like it. I don't quite know what
David's thinking right here.
I don't really know what Harry's thinking actually.
Oh, by just flatting on the button. Yeah, that is interesting. I mean, I think is his chip stack just going to him, or
3-bet or fold. By the way, I mean Harry could 3-bet all of these medium stacks and put a ton of pressure on all of them.
Yeah.
David's kind of priced in because he's in the big blind, so I don't mind it. But I mean, 10-8 offsuit, you got that many chips. Use your stack.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be aggressive or fold. There's nothing wrong with folding. But if you're going to play the hand, 3-bet.
I'm a huge fan of the 3-bet there for sure. Ant Doom, welcome to the chat. Ant Doom is also Anthony, other regular on our cash game streams, and also played with us yesterday in that tournament.
Oh, sweet. What's up, Ant?
Yep. So Roger, taking the opportunity, firing out again.
What's up, Russian Guns 8? How are you, my man?
And Harry is not buying it. Harry is looks like gonna.
He's gonna float. This is actually a pretty strong play. Now, if he's just calling to hit a 9, it's a terrible play.
Yeah.
If he is calling to hit a heart, if he's calling to take it away on the turn, like let's say, which might have happened. I mean, let's say the turn was.
If Roger didn't spike a queen on the turn.
Right. Let's say the turn is a red deuce, just for example. There's a good chance Roger checks and then Harry can bet. Frankly, I would, but if he's just calling to hit a 9, that's not a profitable play long term.
Yeah. So it looks like, I want to say, is it 55K, 60K, something like that from Roger Bailey here?
That's a good guess.
And yeah, and correctly, obviously Harry's going to get away. I think he was floating just to see if Roger maybe slowed down on the turn a little bit, and if Roger bricked the turn and would have checked, it would have given Harry a huge opportunity, I'm sure, to get in there and try to take that pot away from him.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, the play on the turn might have been for Roger, like once he hits the pair, to actually check it, because now he's got showdown value.
And then let Harry kind of hang himself a little bit, and because Harry has such a large stack, I would have definitely seen him. I think that would have induced a bet by Harry if had Roger checked the turn. And that's what Please Fold saying. Why not check raise there? It's very very similar.
I'm not sure if check raising is something I like. I mean, check raising is just I mean, are you getting called by worse?
Yeah. No.
I think the lead out was fine by Roger, but I think I'm probably check calling the turn. Or it might go check, and then you can bet the river for a little bit of value and get called by a jack.
This is funny. I like this right here from Babyface. You know how you can tell when a guy's a professional tournament player? His wife has 2 jobs.
20 players cashed in this tournament out of our 163 starters. What's your opinion on the, there's kind of been a movement where a larger percentage of the field is being paid?
Yeah,
What's your opinion on that?
You know, I obviously it takes away money from up top in the final couple spots. You know, but at the end of the day, I'm okay with it. I guess I'm kind of neutral to it. It really doesn't necessarily matter one way or the other to me. But personally, I think it might actually help induce players to play a little bit more or enter in a tournament when otherwise they might not have because, yeah, I mean, what are they paying, an extra couple percent now? Instead?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, PokerStars went up to over 20%. You know, there are other tournaments that are doing 15%. I mean, I think you can definitely go too far. I am personally in favor of going 15%. I think that's a really nice number.
Yeah.
Generally speaking,
20%, that's a lot.
I think when money gets spread out among more people, when people cash, they feel good.
Yeah.
They're more apt to play.
Absolutely.
And I'm all in favor of like keeping the poker world going. So to me, you know, I want more people happy.
Yeah.
And I want more people winning so they can keep playing.
Yeah.
So if that sacrifices a little bit of money for first and second place, I'm okay with that.
And we all know, guys, tournament poker's a grind. I mean, when 85% of the players are walking away with nothing, you know, I mean, yeah, if you know, you got to be able to have a little bit of cushion.
Right. I might even up it, believe it or not. I might even up it to 16.6%, where it's 1 in 6 players cash.
Yeah.
Not like because a lot of times that's how they'll do it. They'll do it 1 in 9, 1 in 10. I actually can get behind 1 in 6.
Yeah.
1 in 5 I think is too much. But 1 in 6 to me is a really kind of sweet spot.
I feel like it's almost like a 6-max tournament, like tomorrow, like just win your table, and
in a weird way,
and you're there, and you're getting paid.
And I also think, I think that tournament directors are really savvy these days, and I think they're very creative, and I think it gives us the opportunity to offer other things. If the standard is 1 in 6 get paid, we can have only final table gets paid. We can have a winner-take-all tournament if you wanted to.
Of course.
You could have a top 35% get paid, 1 in 3 get paid. And you can set it up different ways if you want to. So raise here from Harry the hijack. Shane calls. Tough hand to play out of position. Ace-5 here.
Now, real quick, just to comment on the chat here, Gambit Jr. says, you know, but you lose the consistent players who play for the big money up top. However, you're going to get bigger player fields, so that's naturally going to cause more money up top anyways if you spread out the payout structure a little bit more. So it's kind of like a give and take, ebb and flow situation.
I mean, talking to a lot of people out there, Ace-5, by the way, as you can see, flops to character vibes. 3 clubs out there, neither player with a club in their hand. I think if Shane was going to play this hand pre-flop, the best line is probably just a 3-bet and take it away. Calling is just... You're just going to hate so many flops.
Yeah.
Luckily for him, he flopped a pair. Oh, and look at that. Harry gets it.
And I think now Shane's going to start picking the
I don't really know the value here in betting. If this is a check and hope it goes to showdown. Yeah, this doesn't make... This is the time, but these are the spots where I end up calling down with ace-king, so I'm like, this makes no sense, and I lose.
Well, the pot's at 158K, and Shane knows obviously he really needs this pot relative to his stack size, but unfortunately he's up against the biggest stack of the table, and he was forced to bet half of his stack, hoping Harry folds.
But let me ask you this. He's got ace-5. It went check, call, to flop, then went check, check. Right? So the line is, I mean, Shane's going to have the best hand here a ton.
Yeah.
But can you get called by worse? I mean, the question really I'm asking you is...
No, that's the thing is I don't think you're ever going to get called by worse there.
Well, and okay, can you get better to fold? I mean, let me ask you this. I'll throw this in when I say you, I'm asking everybody at home.
Yeah.
Is Shane bluffing or is he value betting?
Oh, I think Shane's bluffing.
So he's hoping to get a queen to fold?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, here's the problem: is that I think.
I mean, you can't put your opponent on a 9, a random 9. Well, so it's like, what are you trying to get your opponent to fold? Are you trying to get him to fold 8s?
Well, I think
10s?
that also stack sizes matter too. And the fact is, if he was up against somebody else who was also short stacked, this might work. But up against Harry, 50K is a drop in the bucket. That's such a. It's just an
forget
easy
about it. Might work. It might work in the sense of what? Like what I'm trying to say is, what I'm asking you is, if Shane is bluffing, what is he trying to get out to fold? Is he trying to get 10s to fold? He's not getting top pair to fold, right?
Yeah, no. Queen's not going anywhere.
He's not getting a flush to fold. Obviously, he's not getting 2 pair to fold. So is he trying to get like something like 8s to fold?
Yeah,
10s?
Yeah.
I mean, it turns out he has a 9. We wouldn't necessarily put him on a 9. We don't know that. I mean, frankly, the way this hand played out, if I was in Shane's spot, I would actually think that Harry has, like, ace-jack here a bunch, and ace-5 is good. You know, and that's one of the things as you start playing poker, whether you play cash games or tournaments, I go back to understand what are we trying to accomplish with our bet. Just have a semblance of an idea of like, why are we betting? You know?
Yeah, and we talked about that actually the last stream we did, where it's what when I bet, what am I trying to tell you? Just for my bet. What
are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah, exactly. Well, what am I betting for?
Right, exactly. And in that spot, if you're Shane, the way that hand played out, when it goes check call on the flop, and then check in the turn, you think, you know, my pair of fives is probably good here a ton. The 9 on the river doesn't look to change anything. You know, I'm hoping it goes check. And by the way, it probably would have gone check, and he would have lost.
Yeah. But he would have the extra 50K in his pocket.
Yeah, and I just don't think like Harry. I don't think Harry. Was Harry going to hero call him with Ace Jack or Ace King?
No, you're right. I don't think worse is ever really going to call there.
Yeah. And on the river, you know, essentially we're betting for one of two reasons. We're either betting to get called by worse or to get better to fold. That's it. At the end of the day, that's it.
Yeah.
You know, when you bet like third, fourth pair, you don't accomplish either one of those. There was somebody in the chat that brought up a pretty interesting, said like, there are some people out there who, Shane is in trouble here.
Shane's jamming and he's got a couple live ones there.
Yeah, he does, good for him. We can see one queen is dead. He says that some people do play for the huge, you know, the huge number up top.
Yeah, and that was actually JFK, our tournament director, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there is a reason for that, and I think at times, yeah, the big number up top is important. But I think it's a tough line to pair of kings here for Shane. I think it's a tough line to toe if you're a tournament director. Only an ace eliminates Shane. And that's not an ace.
Nope, Shane's staying.
I think it's a tough line to toe, but I think at the end of the day, I think generally speaking, when you take a lot of money from everybody in the poker world and you give it to 3 people, that's not that good.
Yeah.
I think when we spread it out a little bit more, that's better for the general public. And like I said, I think there's a fine line. I don't believe, this is my opinion obviously, I don't think we should go to 20%. I think PokerStars went too far.
Yeah. You're right. I mean,
I think
20%
to me,
is a
like
little thin.
15, 16% is kind of the sweet spot where enough people get paid to keep it all going.
Well, I mean, originally it was like just the top 10%. You know,
it used to be 10, then it went to 12.
Exactly, yeah. So
I think 15, 16 is kind of a nice number, personally, but hey.
Yeah, I think 10% was, you know, it's a little thin when you got 200 players and you're only paying top 20, you know?
Not Nice Mice says, does your expected value of joining a tournament actually change depending on the payout structure? It might change the variance, but it doesn't change your expected value as a long-term pro. Does it change your expected value? Let me think on that one.
Yeah.
Over the long term. I mean, it probably depends on the type of player you are, but I would think that in a vacuum, without knowing the type of player that you are or this hypothetical person we're talking about, I would assume that your expected value over the long term would be the same, whether we paid out 16% or 10%. But if we pay out 16% instead of 10%, less variance will keep you in the game longer.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if that's all you're doing is grinding the tournaments. If that's the difference between at least cashing and getting your buy-in back versus not, over the long term, you're right. Your dollar will stretch a lot farther going that way.
There's a great story in Super System 1. Have you read it? Okay, so in Super System 1, Chip Reese wrote about this in a stud game that he played, where he knew exactly where his opponent was at. He was in an amazing home game up in Texas or whatever it was, playing stud. And on 4th Street, he knew that he was a sizable favorite over his opponent. And they just went, he bets, he raised, he bets, he bet, raise back and forth, raise back and forth. And Chip Reese put all of his money in there. And he ended up losing. And he probably had, like he said, he was probably a 7 or 8% favorite.
Yeah.
He lost. And the reason he told the story was, he goes, I made a mistake by putting that much variance in this particular spot when the lineup was so juicy.
Yeah.
Because the problem was, when I lost in that one spot, I'm out of the game.
That's it. And
you
now,
gotta
now
keep yourself.
I don't even have a chance to recoup any of that from anybody else.
And you got to keep yourself in the game, and that's kind of what we talk about when we talk about bankroll management. You know, I mean, if we walk in here and let's say you've got a $5,000 bankroll, and you walk in and you see a juicy 10-25 game, and the min buy-in is 5,000. Yeah, it might be a great spot that you could destroy over the long run, but if you put your entire bankroll down in that game and that night, you could be out, and then suddenly you're out of the game.
Yeah, out of the game.
That's what you can't do. You got to stay in the game.
Bankroll management is so important. So many people don't understand that. They don't understand using a small percentage of your bankroll. If your bankroll is X amount of dollars, you really need to be down playing at a much smaller, super small subset of that. And people don't understand. They're like, oh, I got 10K in my bankroll, so I'm going to go in there and spend, I'm going to hop into games for 3 or 4K.
I like Rogers. I like Rogers' raise here. See, from the hijack seat at passive table, I think he's really putting some pressure on these players. Harry just calls out of the small blind. So even though Harry has a far better hand, Rogers in position. Harry is... Like, the funny thing is, even before the flop, I'd love to say this, even though Harry is a favorite before the flop, Roger is probably more likely to win this.
Yeah.
Because when Harry misses, it's going to go check, bet, fold
Of
a
course.
lot.
Yeah. And he's the original aggressor. He's representing something at least, and especially Harry. And the thing is, especially in this particular thing where Harry only has king high. I mean, even if Roger is just representing ace anything, Harry's got to go away.
Yeah, and look, he's like, pretty hand,
Yeah.
and I got nothing, and he's going to give it.
Started so strong, and nothing.
See, this is a much different. See, Roger raising in late position, he buys himself the button and he plays the hand in position. This is as opposed to when he raised with ace deuce of spades and queen nine of clubs from early position.
Yeah.
They both, by the way, all three hands have worked out for him.
Of course.
But I think over the long run, this one is going to work out a lot better. He's solidly in second place now.
Yeah, he has made the climb. He has been pretty consistent.
Getting back to bankroll management, you brought up a great point. And I'll follow up on that simply saying, realize also that everybody's circumstances are different. You've got 2 kids, you've got a mortgage, your bankroll management, your dynamic, your financial situation is going to be different than your 24-year-old kid living at home with your parents. Or, let's say, you're a 35-year-old woman living on your own, or you're living with somebody and you've got a full-time job.
Yeah.
If you have all those things, you can be either more aggressive or less aggressive with your bankroll based on what else you have going on in your life.
Yeah.
As a professional poker player with a kid and a mortgage, I am going to be somewhat of a bankroll nit.
Of course.
If I was 25 and single, if I put my entire bankroll on the table, it's not advised, but okay, the worst thing that happens is, okay, then I gotta go work.
Yeah,
Bust my
exactly.
ass.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't go broke. I can't afford to go broke now.
Exactly. No. But you go broke, you climb back, whatever, and on with the next one. But when you have all those, and which brings me to another fine point. Playing with scared money, kids, don't do it ever. It's very bad. It will not end well for you. If you have $1,000 in the bank and you think I'm gonna make it all happen right now and take it out and play poker, you're doing it wrong. Don't do that.
Harry raised the button here and takes it down. Harry's starting to pick up the aggression level, and I kind of like it.
No, he was very, 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 in the beginning, he was pretty slow. And I think that Harry's picking it up not only because his stack size is strong, but at the end of the day, less and less players, I think Harry's going to start hopping in there a lot more.
Well, we saw him in David now, and David and Jeff H have now dwindled down into the 200,000s. They were all in the 400s when the start of this final table, and he can really take advantage. Harry's in a really great spot also because the 2 players on his left are both a little bit more on the passive side, a little bit more cautious.
Oh, which is a beautiful spot to be.
Right, so he knows, like, if he raises and gets 3-bet, they're not doing it, like, they're not getting, messy, they're not messing around.
Yeah,
They've got a hand.
They're not getting splashy. They're not just like, okay, let me just get a little funky with it, make some moves.
The only thing I'd like to see Harry do is I'd like to see him be a little bit more aggressive against Roger as well. And I think he can be.
Yeah. Johnny Trips is going to be coming in here.
You think so?
From the hijack. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, he's in an awkward spot. I think he should be raising here. He's got the ace blocker.
I think he's just trying to figure out what to raise to. And that's exactly what he's doing.
Kind of got a little bit of an awkward stack size. He's got about 17 bigs.
Okay, real quick, a question about bankroll management. Let's just say you should never risk more than X% of your bankroll at any given time What's that percentage? What's that number?
I can't answer that. I honestly, I get asked that question all the time. It depends on your situation.
Yeah.
You know, what I always tell people, I say, okay, imagine the worst case scenario. I mean, obviously, none of us want to imagine the worst case scenario, but if you are playing poker, the smart thing is imagine the worst case scenario. Let's say you lost your bankroll.
Yeah.
What would happen? Now, if the worst case scenario is, you know, going busto and your bankroll's gone, if that worst case scenario is okay, then you can be a lot more aggressive.
Exactly. Then it's like a sliding scale at that point. You can really cruise
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the worst case scenario for me would be disastrous.
Of course, yeah.
So
you can't
I make sure
there's
that
so much more to lose.
Right. So for me, you know, I will very rarely put more than 5% of my bankroll on the table.
Yeah.
Simply because
and actually that's exactly what I was going to say. For me, I'm a pretty much like a 5% max kind of guy for my bankroll, you know, ish.
But in all fairness, like I said, if I was a 25-year-old kid who had no obligations and had a full-time job and I didn't have to worry about it, if I thought a spot was good, I might even put as much as 20% of my bankroll on the table, 25%, just simply because I'm going, if I lose, I can go work. It's not a big deal.
Exactly.
Like I said, it all depends on what the consequences are and can you deal with that.
No, yeah, I mean, like any other question, right? It depends. But at the end of the day, I think I have a sliding scale of about 5%, and I'm not saying that I haven't put more in there. I mean, I've definitely sat down at games that I knew that, you know, were a little bit bigger than I should or necessarily wanted to be playing, but sometimes when the game's right and the mood's right and the table is just that juicy, you make that adjustment.
Right.
But you also have to be willing to know what you have to do in the event that you do go bust.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, like I said, there's nothing wrong with taking shots and even putting 10, 15% of your bankroll on the table. Just, you know, like I said, just be aware of what you're doing here. So you got a raise here from Jeff H in a cutoff seat, pretty standard. David calls. I don't mind that at all. Like, I think with David's stack, he's got a hand that plays really well in position. Jeff H is a somewhat cautious player. I think if Jeff H misses the flop, he's going to check a bunch. So I kind of like this. I think David just has to be prepared to occasionally win the pot without making the best hand.
Yeah.
And this is the situation. Neither player has anything.
Complete miss. So, but that's not slowing him down at all.
No, Jeff H is going to bet.
And I think that's going to pretty much cause an insta-fold from David here.
$1 runs out like
And Jeff H is going to take down this pot, 166K.
Yeah, every pot's so crucial right now. Once again, Justin Kelly, I'm David Tuckman. You are watching the Stones Classic. We had a $500 tournament yesterday. Prize pool was, what, $95,000?
Yeah,
something ridiculous?
absolutely.
Crazy. We shattered
Today,
the
another
guarantee.
$50K prize pool, shattered the guarantee by over 10 grand.
And then tomorrow, of course, a $150, that's it, just $150, Six Max tournament, a lot of fun. The Six Maxes are great if you've never played them. That starts at 10 in the morning?
Yes, I believe so.
Starts at 10 in the morning, so you can come down here. And if you make the final table, Lon McCarran will be commentating on your final table. That's something that you can kind of like...
You're right. I mean, you can take that to the bank right there.
That's
You're
pretty
like,
sweet.
You're like, dude, I got literally ESPN commentator commentating on
That's
my
pretty
table.
sweet.
Right? You know?
Lon McCarran, I mean, he's a boss.
So basically, you're playing essentially what these guys are playing right now. Six Max tournament.
Yep.
Six-handed.
Yeah, all these players guaranteed $2,760.
Jeff H here with pocket fours.
Yeah, I think Roger can raise the button. I think he can actually raise. Yeah, actually, the problem is Shane is so short. Shane literally has 6 big blinds. I think you've got to be really careful in this situation if you're stealing, because you don't want to just give away 6 big blinds. And if you raise, and let's just say, you know, Shane had something that he was going with, obviously he's not here, you can't fold. You're just getting too good a price.
Oh yeah. No, you're basically committing yourself automatically.
It's so crucial to know how many chips your opponent has, and I think a lot of people that go from online poker to live poker
That's a huge
struggle with
transition.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and it's a lot of tournaments too. I mean, instantly when I sit down, I like to get an idea of where everybody's stack is at, especially the 2 players to my left in the blinds. Because if I'm going to be making moves on the button or basically making moves from the hijack, I got to know if the guys next to me, you know, if I'm essentially making a raise that's, you know, a large percentage of my stack and it's peanuts to them, you know.
Yeah, and you just got to be aware. I mean, if Shane had a bigger stack, when somebody only has like 5 big blinds, 6 big blinds, I don't really want to be stealing. Now, in the same vein, if I have a hand even as weak as like Queen 10 or Queen 9, I might just shove all in, make him call off.
Yeah.
Because he'll fold like, you know, I can get him to fold King 4s, King 6s, hands like that. Angry Pollock. Veronica says, apparently Roger brought the sexy tonight. Did he not? Is there a night when Roger does not bring the sexy?
It's always here.
Yeah.
It's always here when Roger's here.
Roger currently in second place. Shane, our short stack, has done a really good job of surviving.
He has, and he has been quite the survivor. He's been on a bit of a roller coaster so far at this final table, but he is not going to go out without a fight, that's for sure.
What's up, Mike Mayhem? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for the love, my man.
That was one for 4,000. I bet enough to put them all in. They don't do that in the South Bend.
Once again, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can. You are
Justin Kelly on Twitter. I am Fat Train.
at Fat Train, and I am at Tuck on Sports. You can follow us on Twitter. You can also, you're not on Twitch, but you can heart me on Twitch if you want. I am Tuck on Sports on Twitch as well. Here, I'll even say hi. You guys can click on that. I'm needy, okay? I need love.
He does. He was telling me that before we started the stream. He needs love.
I'm a very insecure guy.
It's true. So
Yeah, and this is an easy race spot. I mean, you're just not messing around.
Yeah.
Now you do have 9s, which is a monster. I might raise it somewhat smallish.
So Battle of the Blinds here. Johnny Trips looks like is going to raise into Harry's 9s.
Yeah. Depending on the raise size, you might just get it in with 9s. We'll see. What's the raise size to 43K?
So 27K more for Harry to call.
I'm just getting it in. I'm just going to go all in with 9s here.
And I think that's exactly, you look over, you see that Harry look over and kind of give a hand gesture. I'm sure he's basically asking Johnny, hey, could you move back real quick and let me see how many chips you have?
And the thing is, I mean, I can
Trying to
get
get a
called
count.
by worse. If Johnny Trips has like 8, 7, 6s, hands like that, he's going to call off.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call this and have some sort of like King 10 deuce flop come out and then just be guessing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, 9s are a really big hand. I've got a ton of chips. I want to leverage my chips.
What? You can hear him. He said, I have some best hand, but I know you're going to catch. He folds. Harry folds.
Oh, yeah.
I believe Harry said something along the lines of, I know you have a king, or I know you're going to catch a king, and I know I have the best hand, and then he laid it down. And that is why I leave this in to hear that table talk right there. I know that might pain you. We have some aspirin available.
This is one of those situations where there was a moment while I'm sitting here, I forgot I was on video as well. Wait, the small blind just raised to 2.7x.
The chip leader, yeah,
And the chip leader,
lays 9s.
I don't even care the chip leader. It folded around to the blinds, 6-handed. The small blind raised to 2.7x. And the chip leader in the big blind just folded 2 red 9s?
This is true. This is real life. This is true. I believe our chat is actually kind of like, wait, what? Huh? All right, next hand. Over that. All right, over to Roger Bailey here. King 8 of hearts. He's coming in from the hijack.
Hold on, guys. Wait. I have to look at, we have a sheet here. Very important. So we try to go through all these. Number 2 is stay positive, do not criticize the players. So it's up to you now. Come up with a way to shine some positive light on that fold of the 9s.
Well, you know what?
You can't be too safe.
Everybody plays poker a little differently, and maybe that's the reason he's chip leader. And we're not at that final table.
Hey, there you go. But hey, you know what? You can never be too safe. Mm-hmm. And good point. He is chip leader, while you and I are sitting in a commentary booth talking about poker.
This is very true. This is very true. And you know, you can't lose the pot if you fold. Question mark?
That's a little conservative, though. I mean, I understand. Hey, I do think there is a fine line between chip accumulation and survival. Survival is so key. It's one of the reasons why Phil Hellmuth is so good at tournament poker. Mm-hmm. His ability to survive. That said, when you have that many chips, and your opponent had that few chips, nines are just too good a hand to fold.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, especially when it comes down to stack size. I mean, you're so monsterly stacked. There's so many different ways you can play that aren't folding necessarily.
Well, next time I guarantee it. Guarantee it, Eric.
I mean, there is something to be said to staying out of the fray and staying out of danger. People don't realize that if you consistently get your chips in as a 70% favorite, but each time you do it, you're putting your tournament life on the line. It won't take that many incidents before you're out. You know, okay, so the first time you win, the second time maybe you win. By the third time, you are actually, if you're only a 70% favorite each time, you're actually a big dog to win all three.
Yeah.
You know, and once you start getting 4 and 5, so each time you put your tournament life on the line, it's one of the reasons Phil Hellmuth always says, he talks about it, he goes, I'm really proud of the fact that I was not all in at all the first 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
You don't want to be all in. So
Absolutely. I've definitely had tournament runs like that where I think the exact same thing. I think, the cool thing is that I've accumulated these chips, I'm still in this tournament, but my tournament life per se has never actually been at risk. I've never been all in to a stack larger than me and been at risk.
Good point. I like that. You know, and you know, maybe I think nines are too good to fold no matter what. But maybe you can play the ICM, you know, I want to play survival role if he had very few chips. Or let's say he had a medium stack against a big stack. The fact that he had so many chips dictated him he had to go with it in that one spot. But hey, like I said, you said it best, you know, many ways to skin a cat. My apologies to PETA.
No, sorry in advance. Hey, don't come in here throwing like random red paint on us. But no, Claude 1980 says, I didn't even realize folding was an option. Like I thought they just grayed out that fold button right there. Even in live poker, just grayed out.
It's one of those weird things, like if this was an online game and you clicked on the fold button, the computer should pop up. Are you sure? Yeah. You've got nines.
I feel like sometimes I've been at the table where like I'm already basically out of a hand in my head, and in my head I just click the check fold button. Like, just please, can we end this hand and go to the next one?
What's up, Jay Hobbs? 1919. How are you, my man?
Welcome.
So good to be here. Like I said, I don't get up here enough. I wish I could come up like once a month. Really, it's a great spot to play poker. The food is fantastic.
And it's funny because one of the, like I said, we had a lot of first timers here playing in the Monster Stack yesterday from the Bay Area, and he's like, "Hey, how's the food here?" I'm like, "I don't really think you can go wrong with anything." And sure enough, he ordered, I think he ordered like a big old bowl of like pho or something, and he looks at me like, and after he finished, he just mouths it down. He looks at me, he's like, "Hey, you weren't lying." He's like, "That's some of the best pho I've had." I'm
no,
like,
yeah. Legitimately, if I lived here, I would actually, because the restaurant is really nice. Mm-hmm. If I lived here, I would bring my wife here for dinner.
Yeah, and that's saying something, right? Because
you don't do that any other place here.
Look at this flop. Yeah,
it's an interesting little flop here. David is open-ended. Roger's got a pair of fours with a gut shot. Jeff has got a gut shot on the upper side of it as well. It's a pair of fours that are still the best hand, and you can see the percentages. No, but I mean, I always point out, you know, many of the casinos in Southern California, you go, yeah, it's not, it's pretty good food for a casino.
Yeah.
For a casino.
For a casino. That's like the huge, delineator there.
This is really good food, really good food.
Yeah.
Yeah, David played this hand a little bit passively, and it's going to cost him. Right, and this is
just check showdown, yeah.
It's a good check back by Rogers. Not going to get called by worse.
Yeah, no, never going to get called by worse.
And he picks up another nice pot. Roger now up to 550.
JCW Poker says, I once brought my wife to Hollywood Park for dinner and now we're divorced.
Yeah, story checks out. Hashtag story checks out.
Legit.
Hey, JCW, what made you think that was a good idea?
Never a good idea. So guys, if you're just tuning in, the blinds are now 8,000, 16,000 with a 2K ante. You are watching down to the final six-handed of a tournament that started with 163 players. They are playing for a first place prize of $13,047.
I played a lot of poker with JCW. He plays 5-5 and 5-10 in the Southern California area. Mm-hmm. He is a solid competitor. Not gonna lie.
Obviously not in the wife to dinner department, but everything else.
Right. But when it comes to poker, he is he's a tough opponent.
Jimmy Bluffett says JCW Poker, that's not a good ROI. That's not a good return on investment right there.
No, especially because divorce is expensive.
It's true.
Dude, Pay up for dinner and save the money on divorce.
That's like solid life advice. That should be a bumper sticker. All right, so now coming around, we got the Battle of the Blinds.
Then we've seen this a lot. I mean, you've seen a lot of, when you see a lot of like folding onto the blinds, that just suggests the table is.
And there we go. And so this is what Roger did. So this is the thing: is you're against Shane. He's the short stack.
Love
and
it.
at the end of the day, you know that. I mean, what are you going to do? Raise and have him shove over
This
the top?
is a really strong play.
Yeah. You basically shove and you make him commit or not. End of story.
Right. And the fact of the matter is, Roger's just going to win this without seeing. Roger's going to win this without seeing a flop, probably 50% of the time.
Yeah.
And the other 50% of the time, he's still got 40% equity. Look at this.
Exactly.
So, I think I'm folding hands that, I think 5-3 offsuit I'm folding. 9-3 I'm folding, 10-3. I'm folding the bottom 20%, 30% of my range.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm shoving the top 60%. Probably 70%, somewhere in that range.
So here we go, 9-10 versus 3-5. 8, deuce, 6.
The 10 high still good.
10 high.
Roger looking for a 4, a 5, or a 3.
Now he's open-ended.
He is open-ended,
No,
but
he actually hit the nut.
Well, I was going to say,
Yeah.
Roger is open-ended.
He does hit that 4. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
You didn't lie. Roger was open-ended, but Shane had the absolute stone cold nuts.
Yeah.
It didn't work out for Roger, but I like the play.
I would have done the exact same thing. I totally. You got to do it. You gotta do
5-3
it.
suited is just good enough to make that play with.
Well, and especially your stack size versus Shane's. I mean, he has got 70K. You had like basically 500K starting the hand. You're gonna do it. You got to do it.
Well, think about it. He's going to fold Jack 4, 10, 6.
He's gonna fold a lot.
He's going to fold Queen 3. He's going to fold 9, 5.
Dude, I was just gonna say. I mean, he could be even folding like a Queen 3, King deuce. I mean, you can get him throw away a lot of hands. By
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And like I said, if Shane is,
because he's thinking, is this going to be
Shane-
my tournament life?
if
It
Shane-
lasted this
right.
long? Am I going to ship it with King Deuce?
if Shane is not aware of like the push shove charts, and he just folds a little bit too much, it's incredibly profitable to shove that.
Absolutely. Then Roger's even getting way better than the 50-50 we were talking about earlier. He's going to fold much more than that.
You see the payouts in the bottom scrolling about. We are at Stone's Gambling Hall. Look at this. I can look through our little window and see Bart Hansen wearing his typical black shirt.
Oh, he's playing the cash game. He's giving a thumbs up, which means it is a good one.
Either that or he farted and he's walking away. I don't know.
Crop dusting.
Bart came over to tell us a story, but neither one of us care. Should we just
Nice.
pretend to care?
Just because Dave can't hear. He's so loud. He's like, but he's on the other side of the glass. You think he can see us?
Yeah. Let's pretend to care what Bart says.
Oh man, he's just over there crushing live poker. Sick plug.
Yeah, of course, Bart is
Sick plug.
founder and lead pro at Crush Live Poker. I also work at Crush Live Poker, and we actually we analyze a lot of the hands here at Stones Live. We use a lot of this content for our training site, so you guys can check that out at crushlivepoker.com. In fact, if you use the code DTA309, you get 1 month free over at Crush Live Poker.
DTA309. I'm gonna put that in there, guys.
DTA309. You get 1 month free.
Absolutely.
Ooh, and Roger with the Niners. That's how you play nines.
The Ninas. The
Call me
Ninas
JC
are
says,
strong.
given your lovely voice, thank you, call me. Do you use speech play much in cash or tournaments? And do you agree with the Kasuv penalty in the main for talking?
For talking like while you're in a hand, maybe when somebody's waiting to call you or something.
I generally am on the side of Negreanu when it comes to talking in tournaments.
Okay.
I think we've gone too far. I had Matt Savage on my podcast last week. I mentioned this already, and we talked about that. And he brought up some really valid reasons for why talking is not allowed at, certain talking. You can't talk about your hand specifically.
Yeah.
Now, in Kasuv's spot case, I think he went too far, which is why he got his penalty. And I do talk a lot, especially in cash games. I think, that's part of the game.
It's definitely part of the game.
But cash games and tournaments are a different animal. And what you can do in a cash game, you can't do in a tournament. Like I said, I think we've gone too far. At the same time, I think some of the things that we saw on the World Series of Poker broadcasts, I think some of those players, notably Kasuf and Keating, went too far.
Yeah.
I think they went too far.
Oh, absolutely. So it looks like David here is going to make a raise. Was it Jeff raise here, 45K?
By the way, our thoughts and prayers are with the Palmer family. Of course, Arnold Palmer has passed away.
The legend.
Yeah, quite possibly, I mean, certainly arguably the greatest golfer of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Has passed away at 87 years old. So he lived a good life.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like earlier we were talking about this. I'm like, you had a good run, man. You know? Right on.
Oh.
Check and then a shove by David with no hesitation.
Yeah, and
definitely illustrates strength. Jeff is checking out.
Yeah, and Jimmy Buffett points out, he says, I'm old school, I talk a lot at the table, but I don't cross the line. There's a way to do it without disrespecting the other player.
Absolutely.
And I 100% agree.
100, yeah.
To me, the game is social. It's the reason I like playing.
Yeah.
If I can't talk to anybody, then it's like, okay, this is boring. I might as well just play online, and I prefer live poker. So I think talking is part of the game. I think it makes it more fun.
But you have to. But exactly, you have to be able to do it in a way that's fun for everybody.
Be a human.
It's not. Yeah, come on.
Be a human being. Don't be a jerk.
Yeah.
And don't disrespect your opponents. I mean, it's not hard.
There's so many times where I've seen people do weird stuff like that. You know, there's obviously a player at the table who might be newer or a little nitty or whatever, and they make a bad play or what, and people just brutally criticize them or like, oh, I can't believe you make that play or you're a moron. I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
There's just no need for that.
Well, I mean, first of all, A, it's bad business, but B, it's just why are you being a jerk? What's the point of that? You know. Another person pointing out that sometimes you can talk so much that you don't allow the other person to think. I think etiquette should be that. If you're thinking, go ahead and talk. But if your opponent is in the process of making a decision, I think talking to that particular opponent, or if you're not in the hand and you're loudly talking while somebody's trying to, I think you can be quiet and give the person a little bit of space.
Yeah.
Johnny Tripp's all in here. Get a raise here from Roger, and this is a tough spot for Roger. Man, how big is the shove? 16. So we're looking at it.
268. Roger's got about 480K.
I think if Roger, I like the laydown. I was going to say the reason being, I think if Roger thought of himself as an underdog at this table, I think I would probably call because it's pretty close.
Yeah.
If he was playing with like 5 guys that he was just like, oh, these guys are superstars.
Yeah,
They're crushing me, and I need to gamble a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think Roger believes that he is one of the more accomplished players at this table.
And he's been playing solidly.
Yeah.
He's been playing very solid.
And frankly, having that many chips, I think getting in a flip with 7s is kind of ICM suicide at this point.
Yeah, it's unnecessary right now.
Yeah,
I mean, if anything, you're waiting for the short stack to kind of make a mistake and see where this goes from here.
By the way, it's close. I mean, I think 9s, you've got to call.
It was.
But I like the fold of 7s.
Johnny Tripp's waking up with aces after he already made that shove, so this might maybe lend it to looking a little funky since he is just all in the hand previous.
Yeah, and at the same time, by the way, guys, I mean, when it comes to not talking, like anybody, read the room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like have some semblance of like social skill where you like, if somebody doesn't want to talk to you, don't talk to them.
If you're the only person at the table just creating like a Tasmanian devil tornado, like, you don't have to do that. Don't do that.
But, I mean, generally speaking, you can find somebody at the table you can have a conversation with. It's just more enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know?
So Johnny Tripp's over here. Roger makes it 35K under the gun.
Yeah, and again, it just, these are unnecessary spots for Roger to take.
Yeah, I definitely
in this position.
As far as Roger,
if he wants to do it from the hijack with a button, go ahead.
Exactly. No, but under the gun, that's an easy quick fold for him. And so obviously the 3-bet to 115K is going to get through, and aces are good. Johnny Trips will take this pot down.
A little bit of a large raise there from Johnny Trips. I mean, he really wants action with the aces. I mean, I think I'm probably making it closer to 85,000.
So taking a look at our bottom 3 stacks there have 20 bigs, 13 bigs, and 8 big blinds respectively there with Shane on the bottom. So Shane is definitely looking for a hand to pick his spot, and he is under the gun right now.
Yeah, Not Nice Mice points out, how many recreational players did Daniel Negreanu bring into the game just by talking? Just by being nice.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, like I said, I mean, I'm a bit, if you've ever played with me, and a few of you in the chat room have, you'll know I'm a social guy. I want to talk, and sometimes I'm probably annoying, and I apologize for that. But to me, this game is a social game. Just don't cross the line and be a jerk.
Well, Shane found a spot here under the gun with Ace King. I really don't think there's a better time to do this.
He's going to get called.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny Trips, I really don't see him going anywhere.
No, I don't think he can.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, Johnny Trips is getting unlucky here, but is Shane not shoving... Is Shane not shoving any ace?
Now, let me ask you this. It's funny because we already know that Harry's going to fold because we saw him make that fold earlier with nines, just on the blind
This is an easy fold.
battle. Yeah. So it's an easy fold for him.
Well, I mean, it's an easy fold if once Johnny Trips is involved.
Exactly. If Johnny Trips not going to fold.
If Johnny Trips folds, then I'm calling.
Then Harry's in. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You just got to realize you have to put your opponent on a range of hands, right? What is the entire universe of hands that Shane would do this with? Mm-hmm. And I think we have to assume that he would do this with any ace.
Any ace.
He would do this with King Jack, Queen Jack, maybe even Jack 10 suited.
Exactly. A couple of paint cards, any sort of like higher end suited connectors like that. Ace, what? Anything.
7 big blinds?
He's got 7, 8 big blinds. Yeah.
8 big blinds.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out he has a monster, but I think you've got to.
But you're right. The range I put him on is just wide open with. Okay, I'm going to hit the blinds. I mean, if he can't afford to hit these next 2 blinds with the stack. If the blinds are 8 and 16, he's going to hit 16, then 8. He's going to 24K down. He can't.
Now, in Johnny Tripp's defense, and he laid it down, in his defense, he is really bad position.
Yeah.
Now, if he were
because he's got the world behind him. If he comes in here, and his tournament life could be over if somebody behind him wakes up with a monster.
Imagine he calls that, and then Harry moves all in. He's
yeah.
like,
What do you do
now?
Yeah.
Now you got to fold the ace jack. He's in a really tough spot because he was next to act. If he's in the button, the small blind or the big blind, it's an auto call.
Yeah.
Easy. But being next to act makes it a lot tougher.
And I feel like all of these players are in, okay, so Harry's going to get, and Harry's going to be part of this, and he's going to flat.
Now this is the thing that doesn't make any sense. He calls with 4s, but folds the 9s.
To the heads up big blind battle. Yeah. All right, so there you go. 4s versus Ace King.
Wow. I mean, he gets it in, okay.
Yeah.
And he's gambling. And the problem with 4s, of course, is, the biggest issue with 4s is, generally speaking, you're never dominating your opponent.
Yeah, never. Yeah. Oh, you are
dominating now.
Good Lord. And Shane's halfway up and out.
He's drawing dead now.
He's drawing dead, yeah.
Shane is going to be out. So Shane will take home $2,760. But, when you call... There are situations where you have to call with deuces, 3s, and 4s, but you generally want to be the aggressor with those hands because you want the fold equity. Mm-hmm. When you call with those hands, you're hoping your opponent has 2 overs.
Yeah. That's sort of yeah. It's you're hoping. That's the thing is you're hoping for a queen flip when you have a small pocket pair like that.
Look at that, Justin Curitis.
All right, guys, you're on a 10-minute break right now. We are going to clean up some of the black.
So it looks like the players are going to go on a 10-minute break. We have 5 players left. All these players guaranteed $3,513. We'll go on a 10-minute break. You want to go on a 10-minute break?
Let's do it. I'm in.
Back in 10, guys.
Absolutely, guys. See you soon.
I had 8 things.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Stones Live Poker Hand of the Week. We're going to take a hand from a 10-25 game with a 50, and this hand has a double straddle on it, so 10-25-50. It gets folded around here to Nat, who's been playing pretty wild, and he's going to open for 250, 2.5 times the double straddle, and JC Tran is going to defend the double straddle spot with King 8 of clubs. We can't see what Nat has right now, but we can see that JC has flopped top pair. This one goes quickly check, check. So now JC is going to take the lead here on the turn. He bets $325 here on this wet board, and Nat doesn't think about it for too long, and he's going to make the call here. So you start to think about what types of hands would raise pre-flop, check back the flop, and then call the turn. River's got to be one of the worst cards here for JC. It's the ace of diamonds, so a hand like ace-jack, ace-10, make a pair of aces. Nat might have a hand like ace-queen that could have been checked back. He's going to think about it for a little bit, and he's going to bet about $750 here into a $1,200 pot. So it gets back around to JC, and you can see the discomfort here in his seat. He's getting about 2.5 to 1, and Nat has played pretty wild. So he is eventually going to come to the conclusion that this is a profitable call. He puts the money in, and Nat turns over ace-9 for rivered aces up and wins a big, big pot. Check out Stones Live Poker on Monday and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. And this weekend, the 24th through the 26th, Stones Live Poker will be streaming the final tables of the $250,000 Fall Classic. I'll be there on Saturday the 24th, announcing the Monster Stack final table. On Sunday the 25th, David Tuckman will be announcing the Classic Deepstack final table, culminating on Monday the 26th, the 6 Max final table with Lon McCarron. It will all be at twitch.tv/Stones Live Poker. Hey everybody, welcome to another Stones Live Hand of the Week. And we're going to get into a pot here at 1025. This game was playing with the straddle, and JC Tran right here was in the straddle. Nate raises here to 160 pre-flop. Brian calls in the big blind, and JC Tran calls in the straddle. Both the blind and the straddle flop flush draws, but it gets checked over to Nate, and he does not bet his deuce. The turn here is the king of spades, and you can see here Brian with top pair and the nut flush draw, but JC Tran with a huge draw, queen high flush draw, and a gut shot to a jack. He just calls the turn bet here by Brian, however, does not raise on the come, rivers the 4 of hearts, and both players make a flush. Brian with the nut flush, ace-5 of hearts. JC Tran, he's got the queen high flush. Now, Brian's going to make kind of a small bet here at the end, about $425 into $1,100, and JC Tran is going to raise it up here. He is going to make it $1,300, and you've got to love this spot if you're Brian staring at the nuts and a guy has raised you on the river. He's going to put a little bit of a Hollywood act for about a minute on, and then he finally moves all in. JC feels like he's pot committed, I guess, and he makes the call, and Brian wins a huge pot in this 10-25-50 game. If you want to check out live cash games, watch Stones Live Poker every Monday and Wednesday at 7:30 Pacific Time over at twitch.tv/Stones Live Poker. Welcome everybody to another Stones Live Poker Hand of the Week, and we are going to take a look at one of the deepest 1-3 no limit games you have ever seen. Up at Stones, they do Match the Big Stack, and we have several people with over $1,000 here at the table. Kathy, who is in the straddle in this spot, is lucky enough to pick up kings, but she is just going to flat call L8-8's raise pre-flop. She does not 3-bet, and that's going to bring Frank along here behind, and they're going to see it multi-way to the flop. Wow, you flat with pocket kings, and you get top set on a board that's just not that draw heavy. L8 is going to make a continuation bet, but Kathy figures there's no reason really for her to raise. She's just going to flat call, but that's going to bring Frank behind in the pot with a gut shot wheel draw. The turn comes off a deuce, and Kathy now gets checked to by L8, and she's not going to slow play now. She's going to bet, build herself up a little bit of a pot, but she bets really tiny. She bets 90, and Frank is going to continue to come along here as well. You can see L8-8 releases his pocket tens. We move to the river, and what a crazy river it is. It's an ace. It gives Frank aces up, but it's got to be really scary here for Kathy. But give her credit, she is not scared, and she is going to make a small type of value bet here to try to get looked up here by 2 pair, aces up, and you can see that Frank calls her immediately, and she wins a big pot. Check out Stones Live Poker every Monday and Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time over at twitch.tv/StonesLivePoker. Hey everybody, welcome to another Stones Live Poker Hand of the Week. We're going to get into it right here in a 5-5 no limit game. Now, AD has made a very optimistic open preflop for 20. He gets 3-bet by Kelly from the cutoff, and he calls. And look what we have here. Kelly, as a 3-better preflop, has flopped top set. AD, with just a gut shot from out of position, 4-5 offsuit. Kelly is going to bet out here with top set. She's not going to slow play it. She bets $80, and incredibly, AD is going to peel here for his gut shot. The turn is a 9, does not bring any help into AD, and Kelly is going to continue to bet here for value. She is going to look at her stack, try to figure out how much money she can get in there, and she bets $120. Like the sizing, but AD continues to call. He appeals for 4 out, and it comes at the end. He hits the 6 on the river, but he checks it over to Kelly, and of course, Kelly's going to bet here with top set. She's going to try to figure out how much she can extract. At best, you figure AD has a lesser queen. There's no way you can possibly put him on 4-5, but the most incredible thing happens. He just calls at the end. He doesn't check raise all in, and he definitely would have gotten all of her chips. She only had $320 left. He leaves an incredible amount of value on the table. Check out the Stones Live Poker webcast every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time over at twitch.tv/StonesLivePoker.
And welcome back, guys. We are in the final stretch here of the awesome Stones Live Classic tournament today. Started with 163 players. We are down to the remaining 5. These players have been playing for 13 hours and some change so far. They're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, they showed up to this morning at 10 in the morning, and you say it's the final stretch. And I mean, I guess that's the definition of the final stretch, but this could still go on for a couple of hours very easily.
Oh, absolutely. I don't
we're
think
five-handed.
These guys are contenders. I don't think any of these guys are just like giving up, ready to just like, all right, let's call it a night.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So, I just, during the break, I just double-checked my flight.
Yeah?
Found out I'm flying out. I'm not sure what I was thinking when I made this flight, but I apparently have a flight. My flight leaves at 6:10 in the morning tomorrow.
Soon enough to be
I'm
today.
assuming my thought process must have been, I'll do this and then go straight to the airport.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what my thought
With these players right now, I'm thinking that's probably a pretty good read.
I mean, I'm saying that was my thought process when I made the flight.
Yeah.
But I mean, really.
Or at least get off the stream and then play live cash for like an hour and then go. But yeah, same diff.
I mean, for somebody who travels as much as I do, that's really amateur. 40-minute levels is exactly what we were playing. 163 players we started with. 158 have fallen by the wayside. We are down to our final 5.
And
all of them, by the way.
And the blinds guys are sitting now at 10 and 20K and a 3K ante.
Right. Average stack 24 bigs. Mm-hmm. As you can see, all these players guaranteed $3,513. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Babyface, Jimmy Bluffett, Not Nice Mice. JCW. Veronica Brill. Everybody who is with us here, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Tweet out and let everybody know we're live.
Yeah, so looks like we have a 75K bet by Jeff here with 7s. And sure enough, you can see there in front of Johnny Trips that lovely plaque tile. He is tossing in a few of them. Those are 25Ks on the tiles, guys, on those plaques. Makes you feel right out of a movie. So he makes the call. Pot's now at just under 300K. The first option over here, Johnny Trips, that flopped the queen. He's going to check it over to Jeff H with pocket sevens. And Jeff's going to check behind. 3 on the river is going to give Johnny the check mark with his queen. Johnny here, pot's at 300K. Johnny's stack size is about 300K. And he is going to fire. He's going to fire a pretty sizable chunk there, guys. Those pink purple chips you see there are 5K. The yellow chips are 10K. The blacks are 1K. And those plaques you see there, stacks of those tiles, those are 25K tiles.
Yeah, I think the bet size is a little bit optimistic. Again, we got to figure out what are we trying to accomplish. What is he trying to? He's betting for value here, right? He's not trying to turn his hand into a bluff. So what is he trying to get called by? Now the 3 paired, so he's losing to a 3. He's losing to an ace. So he's trying to get called here by a 5.
Yeah.
Or a hand worse than queen. And by the way, or maybe get his opponent off of the queen.
Off a chop, essentially.
Right, but I mean, to me, I'm probably looking at trying to get value. So if I'm trying to get value, I'm going to bet a little bit smaller and try to get a crying call from, like, you know, some sort of hand like 9s, or maybe my opponent's got some sort of 5 in his hand and he heroes me.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, you're definitely looking for the hero call there.
What's up, Gambit?
Welcome, welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Always a good time here. Make sure you click on that heart in the lower left corner of your screen to subscribe.
Roger Bailey representing California here with his he's got the California bear on his shirt.
He's got the bear, yeah, the California Republic right on there. From the button, Roger's coming in here with 8-jack. He's going to make a raise.
Hey, how about California representing, by the way? The Oakland Raiders win today.
Yeah.
And the Los Angeles Rams win today.
Done and done.
Now, forget about the 49ers. We don't care about that.
Just put that under the loud noises. And all right, so raised to 65K. Harriet originally, it looks like, limped for the 20K big, and now he is going to follow up and call behind with the 6-7. So Roger Bailey still with the original aggressor with position. Both players missed the flop. Harry first to act is going to check it over to Roger. And he's going to bet 35, a tile and a yellow. And he's
Those tiles are 25,000 each, huh?
Tiles just make you feel good inside.
I mean, unless, of course, you actually have tiles.
Yeah.
Which is a medical condition.
Yeah, that's different kind of tiles.
That does not make you feel
good. All right, let's call
inside.
them plaques. Well, you're the one going to the dentist tomorrow. You can deal with your plaque there.
Good point. Yeah, it's like nut low life. Like what was I thinking? So I've got to, like, I guess, get up at 4 in the morning, or just stay up.
Yeah.
Go catch a 6 in the morning flight to Burbank, and then be at the dentist by 10 in the morning.
Yeah, that just sounds like an awesome time, said nobody ever.
Right. I mean, what was I thinking?
That's the
I mean,
worst.
I guess the only good thing is...
I feel like you just, like, bad beat yourself right there.
Right? Like, what was I mean, when I planned that day out, what was I thinking? I mean, the only good thing is my kid's in daycare, my wife's working, so after the dentist, I can come home and I guess sleep.
Yeah, sleep is going to be awesome. You're going to really enjoy some of that, hopefully, later in the day tomorrow.
I can sleep and then wake up and watch Monday Night Football and hang out with my kid, which is always fun. Who's playing tomorrow night? It's a battle of 2 bad teams, but it'll be entertaining because it's Atlanta, New Orleans, so you know those will be like 60-point score.
Yeah. And if that is one of those games that they pick for the touchdown splash pots here at Stones, get ready.
Well, it's the only game tomorrow night.
Oh, so. Then yeah, it's going down.
Oh, you should. It's going to be.
Yeah, guys, come here tomorrow for all sorts of splash pots.
I mean, over/under on touchdowns tomorrow, 7.
Oh yeah, that's
right.
Good. Yeah, and depending on the limit over here, you're either getting $100 or $200 splash pots. It's going to be an expensive night for giving away money.
I think over/under on touchdowns might even be 7.5. I mean, the over/under is like 54 points. And I think it's going to be over.
So David here with an under the gun raise.
Yeah, David's already won.
Yeah, he fired it out. Take it down. He's just taking it down.
He's already won.
Yeah, he's fine.
We continue to roll along here. Blinds are 10-20.
So So right now, everybody is guaranteed a little over $3,500 for their effort today.
And again, we go back to, you have to figure out, if you are Johnny Trips and you're Roger, it is a catastrophe to get knocked out before the short stack. Because the difference between second place and fifth place is essentially fourth place money.
Yeah.
And you've got a player who, he has 6 big blinds.
Yeah.
You've got to at least wait until he gets knocked out or doubles
Or
up.
doubles, right? Yeah, you have to wait for one of those two things to happen. You have to wait for him to get involved in a pot, period.
And it doesn't mean you're going to play so tight and so passive, but at the same time, you can't make huge take huge chances. I think.
Yeah.
Currently 11:24 p.m. local time. Thank you for joining us, regardless of where you might be in the world.
Exactly. We tuned in from Australia.
Good morning if you're in Europe.
Yeah.
You might be having a cup of tea and a little Marmite on your toast.
Super late last call there on the East Coast.
No, the East Coast is normal. They don't have a 2 a.m. last call.
No, I know. It's just I'm so standardized to that.
I don't even go out until midnight on the East Coast.
Yeah.
When I used to go out before I had a kid.
I remember.
Right.
Oh,
Those days.
Crazy.
Warp 31, what's going on, buddy?
Johnny Trips taking it down again, stacking up, sitting at 650K here.
Warped asking why our clock is so fast. It's not actually fast. What it is since we're live streaming and this technology is still, relatively new, the stream is buffering at a rate where you can watch this and listen to us and it's not a problem, but you can see it in the numbers where it might stall for a second and then go fast to catch up.
Yeah, exactly. And like Stones Live Poker here chimed in. That's our guys back in the booth there. That clock is definitely 100% accurate. I promise. Oh, here at Stones, we give you 40-minute level.
Is it like Swiss accurate?
Yeah. Is it like the atomic clock accurate?
Yeah, I wouldn't go there.
Yeah.
This could be
it's
off.
one of those things where like, okay, well, we give you 40-minute rounds, but we also speed up the clock by 20%. So figure it out.
Go. Harry, our overwhelming chip leader. Johnny Trips, though, back at the 650.
Yeah.
Roger healthy. And you can see David and Jeff H. on life support. In fact, 5 big blinds, 10 big blinds. Both players very, very short.
They're in the pick your spot mode right now.
Yeah. Well,
and Johnny Trips waking up with aces. Oh,
yeah,
Roger waking up with ace jack. Man, Johnny Trips a magnet right now. And
yeah, David's in an interesting spot here because David only has 10 big blinds, and you say, yeah, pick your spot. But at the same time, there's a $500 pay difference between 5th and 4th. Do you wait to pick your spot for the other short stack to get knocked out since he only has 5 big blinds?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Relatively speaking, that jump, I might be more concerned about
going for it.
Yeah, going for it, right? Okay. Just doubling and going for it.
Fair right.
Race to 60. Now, this is a spot where Roger could potentially, but it was an under-the-gun raise.
Right, but under the gun 5-handed is the hijack.
Exactly. So,
I think Roger can get himself in trouble here.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what he's kind of looking towards doing.
Yeah, it looks that way.
I put out an all call.
Oh.
Done. Just plug it into the...
Look at you guys. You guys are on top of it.
Boom, all right.
Roger, by the way, avoided trouble here, although he does have a gutter ball. And I imagine this is going to go check, bet, and then depending on the sizing of the bet, Roger might take one off here. He does have a gutter, doesn't have a diamond in his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't stick it in the hole.
I didn't want to say anything, but. So Roger checks. Johnny Trips here with aces fires out 200K. So 200K, Roger is thinking he's going to get out of here, and he correctly gets away.
Yeah, and Roger really avoided, avoided trouble in that spot.
Oh yeah, if there's a jack high board, like it's game over.
Game over.
Yeah.
He also could have. I mean, he could have 3-bet that pre.
Yeah.
And if he 3-bets pre, I don't think the gentleman with the aces is going to just flat. But if he did, Roger could then put a C-bet out there. It could have really gotten ugly for him.
I think Roger, relatively speaking, got away from that hand as cheap as he could have.
Oh yeah, being in the big blind, you had to call.
Yeah.
Then check fold as well.
That's good for you.
Notice Mike says, I wonder why he decided to overbet, with the aces. And that's another part of the game. When you're playing against somebody, what I always try to tell my students is, first of all, A, what are we trying to accomplish? But B, when I'm playing against players, try to figure out what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Now, what are they trying to tell me by their betting? What are they trying to do?
Right. And in that particular spot, we see his cards. So, it looks like he doesn't want to call. Then we have to get behind the reasoning. Does he not want to call because he doesn't have anything and he's trying to just bully me out of the pot? Or does he not want to call because he's a little bit scared, he doesn't want to get drawn out on, he just wants the hand to be over and win the pot?
Yeah. And
in this particular spot, since we saw he had aces, it was obviously a case of, I just want the hand over.
Yeah.
I just want to win.
I want to take it down right here, no questions asked. I didn't want to have to think about just getting, a draw basically catching up to me.
Once again, tomorrow there'll be another live stream. Lon McCarran will be in the hole, so to speak. And that will be a 6-max final table. So check that out with Lon McCarran. And then, of course, next Sunday, do not forget, next Sunday, Chris Moneymaker will be here live streaming the main event. You can still play in the main event. It's a $450 entry. And that is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We have 3 day ones.
3 starting flights. Yeah. Fire all the bullets you want, guys. Come in, bring some cash, hang out, have a good time. And apparently we are going to be streaming the tournament clock starting at about 4 p.m.-ish Pacific time out here, and that way you can know when the final table's coming up. Give you a little bit better idea rather than just like, hey, you have 10 minutes, get to your computer, get to your TV, watch it right now.
Oh, this is trouble for David.
Oh, is this top?
This is a lot of trouble for David.
Top two for Johnny Trips against David's.
Yeah, and David's got a pair of aces here. He limped in, and I kind of like the limp with his stack, to be honest with you. I think limping in or shoving was actually a pretty smart play. You see he gets to see the flop and he can play it effectively.
Yeah.
At this point, though, I just don't know. On a 2-heart board, I just don't know how he gets away from a pair of aces, because you would probably assume that Johnny Trips would have out of the spot. You would assume that he would have raised with a big ace.
Yeah.
So it's like the only hand you're really losing to is, you're losing to 2-pair, but it's,
But it would have to be a sneaky 2-pair like this, ace 8, 8-3.
Yeah, and how many times does he have 8-3?
Yeah.
He folds 8-3, so it's like, I don't know how, if you're David, I don't know how you get away from this hand. I really don't. If he makes this lay down, I'll just take my hat off and bow my head to him.
It's tough. The pot's now sitting at. Well, that's including his all-in stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But the problem is, like I said, if you're in David's spot, you limped in, and Johnny Trips in the small blind, wouldn't you assume that Johnny would have raised with a big ace?
Yeah.
And there's 2 hearts out there. He can just have a heart draw here sometimes. He can also have a smaller ace. He could have ace 5. He could have ace deuce. He could have ace 4. Granted, you're not beating many aces, but if we think that Johnny Trips is raising with ace 9 plus, it's like, I'm only losing to ace 7, ace 8, and ace 3.
Yeah, then your ace.
I don't think I lay this down. If David makes a lay down, he is a better David than I am.
He's really on the fence.
Yeah, this is the fact that he's thinking about it. Give him credit.
Spot. Yeah, it's a
Take your hat
spot.
off and go, hey man.
Yeah.
The fact that he's actually considering laying this down, regardless of what he does, I give him all the credit.
Oh man, he's so torn. You can see he looks down to jam it in. He looks up to fold it. He looks down to jam it. Oh,
you just got to. You got to. Hands are stories, and you got to go back to the free flop play and go, wow, look at this, he lays it down.
He's gonna lay it. Wow.
That is a heck of a lay down. you just go back to the pre-flop action. And you start thinking, okay, what kind of hands does Johnny Trips have here? How often does he have, an ace?
Johnny Trips is on fire right now. Definitely catching up to Harry here in the big stacks.
Yeah, he is.
So then everybody else beneath them pretty much has half and half down. So 4-11 for Roger, and then the other guys are on life support here with a few blinds.
Now, Babyface Atlanta points out something that we missed up, and this is something that oftentimes when you do live streams, we discount this. He says, maybe he has a lot of hours with that particular player. And that's true.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes we analyze a hand in a vacuum. Rather than understanding the fact that these players have likely played hours upon hours with each other.
Well, they have. I mean, when you get this far, you get moved around the tables, as the field thins out, you will have played with almost all of these players before the final table at least several times.
They might have played last weekend also together.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, if Johnny Trips, or let's say, if David thinks Johnny Trips is a really, really tight player that would never do that on a draw, if you don't think he's ever doing it on a draw, you could probably fold the ace-6 because you can't beat much.
And that's one of the things where when we've seen players make what we, like you said, when we analyze a hand in a vacuum, make essentially a weird move, you don't know the history that these players can have with each other, exactly like we were saying.
And I think that's, get a raise here and a call. That's a sneaky good flop for Jack 10. That's a double gutter. I'm surprised Roger's not betting that, because this went raised by Roger, call by Johnny Trips.
Yeah.
And on an ace-high flop, first of all, Roger can represent the ace. And second of all, his hand has a ton of equity. He might not have seen it right away. A king or a 9 gives him a straight.
Yeah. No, plus that is a great flop for a c-bet.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're the one who should have the aces in your range, not the caller.
Or any of that, even if you have like a queen-king, I mean, you're still any of that. That hit you.
Yeah. You're the one who's more likely to have that flop hit you. And the fact that he had a straight draw but only had Jack high makes it imperative for him to bet, because he can get deuces, 3s, 4s, all those small pairs to fold.
Yeah.
Once again, Justin Kelly. I'm David Tuckman. They call him Fat Train.
It's true. This is Stones Live. Stones Live Classic. Our tournament series going down. This is event number 2.
Yeah, we had a $500 tournament yesterday. Over 200 players played that. $95,000 in the prize pool. It was fantastic. And then, of course, today we shattered our guarantee once again. Guarantee was only $40,000. We hit $50,000. So we are smashing guarantees, and I expect to do that next weekend as well. So if you are near, check it out. Next Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, day 1 of the main event, $125,000 guaranteed. I expect it to be closer to $200,000, and Chris Moneymaker will be in the house. Come on down, say hi to Chris Moneymaker, say hi to Lon McCarran. I'm sure they're both playing.
Absolutely, and guys, starting Tuesday, 2 flights each day. We have mini main event satellites and mega main event satellites for $60 and $110. So if you want to get your way in there, every day in the morning, 10 a.m. and 6 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday night at 6 p.m.
Boom, shakalaka, boom.
Yeah, is it the shoes? He's heating up. So come on in here, win that entry. Let's have some fun.
But this is a shove, I think. And he did shove. So David moved all in here. Roger's thinking about it. The thing is, if you're Roger, you just watch David fold an ace.
Yeah.
On an ace high board.
Yeah.
Roger is praying. He calls. He is praying David's got overs, and that's exactly what he has.
Yeah, again, he's praying for that coin flip scenario.
And this is the kind of things you can't really avoid, but you kind of hope to in tournaments. See, Roger's a slight favorite. Pot is 369,000 chips. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Always good times. All right, the infamous race.
Who wins?
I think Roger's taking it.
I'm going to take David.
Okay.
$1?
I don't know. I haven't looked over there. Let's see.
I haven't either.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, yeah, now it's all good after you see
Oh,
the
my
flop.
God, whatever. It's all good anyways.
Man, I tell you.
You just got hustled. I'm trying to angle shoot.
I know, seriously, on a $1.
Oh, look, now I'm going to get counterfeited. Now my king's going to come. Now you know
Come
it's
on,
going to
king
be
ball.
a king.
King ball one time.
It's going to be the worst.
Send it to Dad.
It's gonna be the worst.
Send it to Papa.
I get out my wallet.
King ball.
I get out my wallet.
King ball. One time. Oh, come on.
So whenever you got that dollar, man, it's
kidding me.
gaining compounding interest right now.
That is terrible. I like a dollar, and you're like, and then the flop comes out. Oh, sure.
I was zoned out, man. What do you want from me?
Yeah, whatever.
So you guys know a crisp one. Framing that. It's getting framed. Never gonna spend it.
If you hold on to that for like 40 years,
yeah, then you'll just be impressed.
Well, it'll just be worth whatever minus inflation. So I mean,
it's probably worth less.
Like 88 cents.
Yeah, it'll be worth less. I love when people walk into a bank. They're like, "I got this $2 bill. What's it worth?" $2.
Yeah. I got totally hustled by a local.
Classic. I just won like tens of pennies, guys. Bring it.
By the way, somebody who won even more pennies than that is our friend David, who was knocked out in 5th place. He takes home $3,513.
That guy won a lot of pennies.
Yeah, a lot of pennies. We're down to 4. All of our players are guaranteed to win over $4,000.
Nice. And they're just done. Mic drop.
Boom.
So it looks like we got a raise coming in here.
Yeah, 4-handed, obviously. Now, this is a new animal because under the gun is the cutoff. Mm-hmm. And under the gun +1 is the buck.
And the blinds move fast.
Real fast.
Very fast. It gets expensive quick.
Now, the average stack is 30 big blinds, but you are now paying $42,000 in orbit, or you can do the math really quick. You are paying $10,500 per hand.
Ouch.
Just it adds up. You can't. You got to play. You got to play.
Yeah.
Roger, with the best hand, hates the turn card. And frankly, I mean, this is a really interesting turn card. Harry now, with the gutter,
also picks up a flush draw.
Right, and you can see he's got 28% equity with just queen high right now. Woo. This is an easy. Honestly, this is really an easy call. If he wants to get frisky, he can raise. Mm-hmm. Turn his hand into a bluff. I kind of like calling here because by calling, he is not capping his range. I mean, he can actually still have a 9 and he can turn his hand into a bluff even if he misses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a really tough spot for Roger, and if Roger checks, Harry can bomb away 125 and it puts Roger in a really tough spot.
Absolutely. Parkster, thanks for joining us. Another SAC resident locally here. Thank you for joining in. And Gambit Jr. as well. Thank
Roger
you.
puts a smallish bet out there, I believe. Kind of a little blocker bet. Thanks, Gambit. Appreciate it, my man. 4-handed. All these players guaranteed over $4,000. First place, $13,000.
Not a bad day's work.
Right. For those of you who found this live stream from my Twitter account at Tuck on Sports, you might be like, "Oh, 13,000." You know, when you compare that to a World Series.
Yeah.
Keep in mind the buy-in for this event, $350.
Yeah, and it's a one-day event. That's rad. You come in here. I played good, had some tournament, and boom.
These guys started about 13 hours ago.
Yeah.
For $350, and 13 hours later, one of these guys is going to walk home with $13K.
Awesome.
We're not messing around.
Speaking of not messing around, we got Harry coming in for a raise, and then Jeff right behind him, insta-shoving.
Yeah, and this is obviously.
This is going to be a snap call here.
Oh, I think it's like 4,000. I think it's 4,000.
I was going to say, I think his raise pretty much put him all in anyways.
Yeah.
Now, Johnny Trips is just kind of wondering what's going on, but I can't imagine him really being.
Now, Johnny would have called. I think Johnny should be calling a shove.
Yeah.
It's only 3 big blinds. He's already got 1 big blind in there. Normally, but the problem is he's got to worry about Harry behind him. And for that reason, well, although actually the raise is not reopened. I actually like the call here from Johnny Trips. Something you've really got to be aware of. Harry's original raise, Johnny Trips' shove was not enough to reopen the betting.
Oh yeah, he can't.
So Johnny can call that.
Yeah.
And frankly, pair of 10s here is still good. Is he going to triple up? He is.
Wow.
Insanity.
Super clutch.
That is huge. Pot 214,000, and the Harry and the Jeff machine rolls along. Blinds will move up in 13 minutes and 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds.
And going. All right. So average stack now right around 610,000. A little under 2.5 million total chips in play. So man, see Jeff H. Even I mean he was really on life support and now still on life support even then with 214K.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting dynamic that's developed because first, second, and third in chips, there's really not much in it.
Yeah.
They're all right around that 700,000 chip mark. And then we've got the one short stack. So it'll be interesting to see how these three players play it. Roger seems to be the most aggressive of the group.
Which, as you get more and more short-handed, becomes a larger, crucial part of the game.
And Roger's going to raise in the button. Harry in the big blind. I mean, he's got two. He can call this, or he can 3-bet. Folding is not really an option, I don't think. And he decides to call. But the only thing is, I mean, he can't just fold when he misses. Well, he didn't miss.
Oh, look at that flop.
Yeah, I think this is a very easy check raise scenario with Ace 10. I mean, even if Roger's got a big hand, Harry's got to think he's got overs
Of
plus
course.
the flush draws.
Yeah, you have
the monster.
plenty of outs behind to catch up, even if you are behind.
Now the key really is, let's say this flop was 7-4 deuce with only one heart. You can't just check fold with Ace 10 because Ace 10 is just going to be. It's going to be the best hand just too often at the time. This is a really good turn card for Harry because Roger can rep the ace. Like, even if, let's say your opponent called you the pair fours or a pair sevens,
Yeah.
that turn card is a good card to rep for the pre-flop raise, which is
Yeah,
Roger.
exactly.
Which basically makes Roger bet a second time.
Which is why if you check to him, it just induces that bet.
Yeah, now Roger's picked up some showdown values. This kind of expect us to go check. Part of me kind of sneaky wants to bet like Harry can make it look like he missed some draw.
Oh, and
But it's gonna go. This is almost definitely gonna go check. I don't think Roger's gonna bet to try to get value from a 7. I think he knows he can't get an ace to fold. Look at this. He's gonna bet though.
Yes.
He's gonna try to get called by a 7 or a 4. I mean, this is a value bet. I think it's a little bit thin.
3 plaques and a pink.
Yeah, you're just not gonna. I think you're just gonna value own yourself too much here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he turns it over like it's the nuts.
Yeah, I really think he thinks he caught up on the river.
Oh yeah, he thought he had the best hand.
Yeah.
He thought 100%. He thinks that his opponent had a 7 the whole way. He got called in the flop. He got called in the turn. Roger was like, okay. I just think try to get 3 streaks of value from a pair of 7s is a little bit thin.
Yeah.
Cash game, I kind of like it. Tournament, I think you gotta play it a little bit more conservative. Please fold says I like his bet actually. The issue is it's like what is he trying to get? He's trying to get called by a pair of 7s. Is a pair of 7s calling the flop, the turn, and the river? I mean, against some players, yeah, I guess they are.
Yeah, I mean, and he's thinking he could have been light. He could have been calling down with any one of those pair on the board, not just a 7. He could have been calling down with any one of those pair and just thought Roger was on air on a super bluff.
Right.
Which technically he was.
Roger raising. Again, at this point, under the gun is the same as the cutoff.
It's the same thing, yeah.
So, that's fine. Roger's gonna stay aggressive. He's realizing that I can pick up 42,000 in chips every time I raise.
I mean, every hand is so crucial when you're down to 4-handed.
It is.
I mean, with these pot sizes and these values. So obviously Jeff H here on the short stack knows that. I mean, really, it's getting frisky here. He doesn't have enough to get Roger anywhere out of here.
Lynn Talk asking if it's live. I wish we were virtually live. We're on a delay, obviously, since you can see the cards. But we're as live as you're going to be.
Absolutely. We always get that. Is this live? Is this real money? So Jeff H does make the call. And Roger flops the best of it here with pair 8s. Oh, and Jeff jams into it.
Yeah, Jeff's dead.
And
on a wet board like this, Roger can beat flush draws, Roger can beat straight draws. I don't think you can fold this. You know, you're getting almost 2 to 1. You know,
and it's like 20-something% of a stack. It's not, you know.
And we can see the cards, so it's so much easier for us. You know, and if you think, I mean, if you put in Jeff's range, any pair, any flush draw, any straight draw, 9-8 is doing fairly well against that range. And when you factor in you're getting 2 to 1, I think you've got to call this. Not easy though. Yeah, Babyface says the old stop and go. Stop and go is a pretty valuable play. I'm not sure if I'm doing it with 4 deuce offsuit, because the problem is with a hand like 4 deuce, when you're wrong,
you're basically drawing dead.
You're dead.
You're dead.
Right.
That's the thing is if
I want to do it like if I'm doing a stop and go and
it's got to almost be like a semi bluff, right? Like I have outs to catch up. Hopefully,
I want to have something.
Yeah,
I mean, like, give me like even if I have King 7 here, at least I've got 3 overcards to the board.
Yeah.
Give me some sort of like escape hatch. I on a wet board like this, I don't think you can fold simply because, like I said, you've got to factor in like Jeff could have any pair, so a jack crushes you, and he does eventually make the right call here, and Jeff is drawing almost dead. I mean, he's got
did he misread his hand? He thought he had deuce 4 of hearts.
Okay, fair enough.
I think he did. I think
I believe that.
And what? Oh yeah. See, JFK Stone said he did it. Yeah, he misread his hand.
Yeah, I believe that. That's what he says.
Well, guys, we've all done it. We've all misread a hand.
I've never done it.
Yes, you.
I've never done it.
You shut your mouth.
I'm genius.
Oh, he's got outs.
He picked up some equity.
He's got outs.
A 5 would just be disgusting.
Life savior.
A 5 would just be disgusting.
It would be disgusting.
One-time 5 ball.
You're such a
drum roll 5 ball. 5 ball. That's not a 5.
No, that is not going to do it. Well, Jeff is going to take home a little over $4,000 for his effort.
Hey, by the way, the power of aggression.
Yeah.
Even though he misread his hand.
Yeah. Roger was thinking about it. Yeah.
He almost got a pair of 8s to fold. Imagine Roger didn't hit a pair.
Oh,
he gets to fold.
Yeah.
If Roger has, you know, queen 9 there instead, Roger's probably folding.
Yeah.
And Jeff wins that pot.
There you go. Now,
so Jeff takes home $4,000, $4,014 to be exact. We're 3-handed. All these players are guaranteed $5,018. First place, a whopping $13,000.
Picking up, and look at these chip stacks too. These guys are not too far away from each other as far as chip stack sizes go.
This
point, is still anybody's game.
At this point, it's a phone flip. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, who's gonna win? Who knows?
Well, I think your phone just lost.
Yeah, the phone lost. Levels go up in 4 minutes and 49 seconds.
These guys are just about on the cusp of approaching a good 14-hour day here.
How frustrating it's got to be. You play 14 hours and, you know, I mean, hey, you're happy with 4th place, but to get knocked out that way when you're like, oh, why did I misread my hand?
Well, which brings up another point. Why did you misread your hand? Well, I don't know. You've been playing for 14 hours. Maybe things are starting to get a little blurry. You know?
You got to double check, triple check. Do what you have to do.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the reasons, believe it or not, it's one of the reasons I don't wear sunglasses at the table. I feel like the advantage that I get by hiding my eyes is minimal at best to nothing.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I've done this before, well, I have misread my hand, 'cause, you know, I had sunglasses on, didn't see, read a spade as a heart, whatever it might have been, or a diamond as and you misread your hand once and you get a situation like that, and, you know, it's tough. Harry, our chip leader, but really, every single hand will flip-flop this leaderboard.
Absolutely, yeah. So every single hand, there's 39K out there to take. I mean, literally 39K every hand.
So it costs $13,000 to play a hand.
Yeah,
essentially. But these guys are relatively deep, to be honest. 3-handed. This is, you know,
Based Muffin, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. River Rick 9, Babyface ATL, always a pleasure, and Fried. Based Muffin, yes, that timer is our blind timer. So in the next 3 minutes and 15 seconds, it looks like we will be going on up.
What's up, Fried? How are you, man?
I'm not sure what the next level is. I'm thinking 1530 probably.
That is a solid guess.
That's just guess, throwing that out there.
That is a really solid guess.
Oh, I hear talk of a chop right now. Just so you know, it's blah 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 XXX. Technically speaking, they'd be chopping up like 26K 3 ways if they didn't even chop, something like that.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If I was Roger Bailey, I don't think I would chop.
Yeah.
Because we're now. Let's say you fast forward 2 more levels, and it's more of a shove fest.
Exactly.
There's a lot more luck involved.
Yeah.
But at this point,
we're
involved. Deep enough. If I think that I have the most experience playing shorthanded, I'm gonna play it out a little bit more.
Me and JFK has actually talked about this. So a lot of players are very inclined to just, okay, well, it's good value. We're just gonna chop because it's the smart thing to do, whatever. But there's something to be said about getting this sort of short-handed end of tournament action, because this right here is invaluable not only for now but for later.
Experience.
This experience is really important.
Now, on the same level, by the way, if I was the overwhelming chip leader and they didn't give me a very favorable chop, I don't want to chop then either. Because I can leverage my stack against the second and third place players and put them in ICM hell.
Of course.
Because there's a $2,700 difference between second and third.
Yeah.
So I can kind of put pressure on both players because they don't want to get knocked out third. But it really comes down to, I mean, hey, if I'm sitting down at a table with Phil Ivey and Daniel Negreanu and they want to chop, let's chop.
Let's do it.
If I think I'm the best player at the table, I'm not chopping.
Exactly. Well, you're at least.
I mean, I'm not chopping if we have chips.
I was gonna say, if you have chips and you're not doing, an even chop, you might, look at, okay, well, I'm gonna need a little bit more, guys.
Right. Now let's say the blinds are 30,000, 60,000, and we all have 600,000.
Yeah. Well, then, come on, we're all on 10 blinds.
Yeah, we're 10 big blind stacks. Okay. I don't want to flip a coin for $5,000.
Yeah. No.
I'm happy to actually play. I'm actually gonna make a deal then. But right now, these guys have 30 big blinds.
Yeah.
I want to play poker.
Absolutely.
If I think that I've got an edge on them, I want to play. And from what I've seen, this is not a slight on the other players. Everybody at this table is playing great, and all these players are good. Right now, Roger seems to have the most experience playing shorthanded. Roger seems to be the most aggressive player at the table shorthanded. It looks to me that he's the most comfortable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And will he win? Who knows? But I feel like he has. I feel like if they played this out 100 times, he would win slightly more than the other 2 players would.
Yeah, and he's been playing pretty solid. Jammer, to answer your question, the buy-in for this tournament was $350. The pay jump, you guys can see your pay scale there scrolling across the bottom. But currently, third place is worth $5,000, second place is worth about $7,800, and first place is worth about $13K.
And by the way, Babyface Atlanta says you could chop for more than first place prize money and become a legend. I have seen that done.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen that done. Where, let's say you're first place, and you have 80% of the chips in play, and the other 2 guys have 10%.
Yeah.
You can be in a situation where you are going to make life a living hell on both players. Both players want to lock up a little bit more money. You can say, hey, listen, it's not going to be a lot more.
Yeah.
I'll take $500 more than first place money.
And then
then they chop it up.
Yeah.
And they ensure, and it's, when you're talking about sometimes, first place can be 300,000, second place is, 140,000, third place is 90.
Yeah.
They can be like, listen, I'll give you $1,000 more, $500 more plus first place.
Whatever.
Let us chop it up.
Interesting. So speaking of stacks here, Harry definitely approaching. He's well over $1 million now, 1.2 million. And Johnny Trips and Roger sitting both about the same at 600K. So Harry's now at a 2-to-1 chip stack advantage over the other 2 players.
Yeah, JCW's Poker says I did that once, but only $50. There are situations where it makes sense. You know what I mean? There are situations where it makes sense to actually give the guy with all the chip, because if the difference between between second and third is significant, and you don't want that variance in your life. And first place has got, if first place is like 85% of the chips in play,
Then what do you mean? I get it.
I can understand it.
There's always extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Babyface says nobody is 3-betting Roger light. He could probably 2 to 2.5x every hand, and then bet 30% pot C-bet every flop, avoid flips, and probably easily win. I wouldn't say easily win because there's still a ton of variance when you're playing 3-handed. But to your point, Babyface, I agree with you. I think Roger does have an edge in this.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, he's been
especially if he goes through that strategy.
Well, but this entire table though, he's been playing solid. He's been getting away from sticky spots. That we've seen, the spots where other players could have easily got stacked off.
You know what? There's pots when you play poker. You've got pots that you earn, and then pots that are kind of like they play themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Kings versus jacks.
Whatever.
Aces versus ace jack. Those are hands they're going to play themselves.
Yeah.
And then we have pots that we earn, and Roger has definitely earned the most pots.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Right, so Harry fires out 120 here. Roger makes a quick call, looks like. Ooh, queen on the turn is going to just catch Harry right up in the spot.
Yeah, and it's a heart, so I mean, Roger can play this a little bit. Yeah, I don't mind the pot control line there. And there's a couple of reasons why. It's kind of like, okay, can you get 3 streets of value from a worse hand? And now the board paired here, which is now it's like, oh wow, I am literally only trying to get value from, I'm trying to get value from a weaker 8 or a deuce. Because I can't get value, I lose to hearts, I lose to a 3, really no reason for me to put my opponent on a queen. But when Harry bets this, it's going to be a tough spot for Roger because I don't think...
Roger insta-called.
He did. We haven't seen Harry bluff.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure he can bluff. We haven't seen it, though.
Yeah.
And the question really is, if he's not bluffing, how often is he value betting a hand worse than ace-8 here?
Yeah.
I don't think he's value... Is he value betting 8-7?
No.
I think he's check calling with 8-7.
Yeah.
So to me, like, he's kind of value betting with 3s. He's value betting with hearts. And he's value betting his queens.
Yeah.
And he might be bluffing like 4-5, right? 4-5, the one draw that maybe he's bluffing. Ace-8's a really strong hand, 3-handed, and it's a tough fold. But I think when you think through the hand, and then you watch the way Harry has played throughout this final table, and probably even longer, I think you might be able to figure out a fold there.
Yeah.
It's a tough fold. I'm not going to say
exactly. No, it is. I mean, you're going to have to replay everything, like the entire final table in your head to be like, All right, guys, if you're just tuning in to us, we have now just hit the midnight mark. These players have been running this down for about 14 hours now. We're at the final 3. We started with 163 players. Right now, the next person to bust out is guaranteed at least $5,000. These guys are going for gold here.
River Rick says Roger needs to avoid Harry if he wants to survive. Harry knows how to outplay him. We'll see. I mean, there he called with Queen 7 and then spiked the Queen.
Yeah, no, he need. That's exactly.
He certainly know how to outturn him.
Well, I was like, that's exactly what he needed. I mean, he needed to hit that 3-outer. Period.
Another big hand here for Roger. I mean, 3-handed. He's got an ace, and now he's got a pair of aces. He's going to check. I mean, he's got such a lock on this hand. I might even check it twice.
9 peels around. Pot's at 72K. He's going to fire out a little bit. Oh, what's...
Well, I mean, in all fairness, I mean, King High is going to be the best hand here a lot. I mean, you're 3-handed. This is a heads-up situation. Roger didn't raise pre.
I was going to say he didn't raise pre, which is really what Johnny's thinking right now. Right. If you had an ace, I would have liked to see a...
Yeah, I mean, Johnny beats a lot of, like, he beats his diamond draws. Not anymore. There's a lot of hands that Johnny can beat with King High.
So pot's at 132 now. He's going to fire again.
I really like that.
Yeah, I doubt we'll see Johnny follow him up here on the river.
I mean, again, the board paired.
Yeah, no, it's not like that card really changed anything.
But, like, I mean, diamonds got there.
Yeah, I mean,
if you 6-7.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, random, like, you know, Jack 10s, Jack 9, Jack 8s. There's a lot of hands that King High can beat. King High is not going to be the worst hand that you show up with here. but he's going to let that one go. Essentially, I mean, king high is...
Nice, he showed the ace, and it's funny because I think you said, I think I heard somebody mumbled it. I think it might have been Johnny Tripp, something about a diamond draw. So I mean, that was definitely on his radar.
So maybe I mean, maybe if the river is a black 4 instead of a diamond.
Yeah, he might
maybe
actually
pays off.
him, yeah.
Look at Harry though. Harry's up to 1.5 million.
Oh yeah, he's got basically a 3 to 4 to 1 advantage on the other
Well, that queen on the turn was a big hand. That was
that was huge. All right, guys. So right now our blinds are sitting at 15K, 30K.
Hey, you called that.
Oh wow, huge!
You're the man.
Huge read, read. But there's so much out there now to take. I mean, every hand.
Yeah, blinds. So 30,000. So average stack is 812,000. But that's not really important because our 2 short stacks are on about 16 bigs.
Yeah, that's the important part.
Yeah. There you go. So Roger's on 13 bigs. Johnny Tripp's on 18 bigs. Harry with the lion's share. The important thing is the effective stack size, though.
Yeah.
So even though Harry is deep, his opponents are not.
Yeah, Harry has a lot of maneuverability, whereas his opponents definitely do not.
You know. I mean, one of my favorite things about this poker room, Justin Curitis, just try to butter up and he just walks away. I don't think he heard me.
That's it. No, honestly, him and Khan as well, they run a hell of a tournament, and I'll tell you what, I don't think there's ever been a time where I'm here and one or both of them aren't here. They are always here. They live here. I swear to God, they probably have a cot in the back.
Justin, a big chess player.
Oh yeah, that's
he's
right.
actually got. I think he's got a chess tattoo.
I would not be surprised.
Like he's got like a chess pieces on his like leg or something. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I actually play chess with him. This is a disclaimer. We're nerds. I actually play chess with him on a little app on our iPhone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And who's winning so far? How many matches? Is he ahead? Are you giving him a run for his money?
I think we're pretty close. I mean, we're pretty evenly matched. Like, we might have played 20 or 25 times. I don't know. I mean, I have to ask him. It might be like 14-11 in my favor, 13-12.
That's still, like, pretty close.
It's pretty close. Yeah, no, we're pretty evenly matched. Like, I'll go on a run and I'll win 3 straight, and then he'll go on a run and win 3 straight. And
yeah.
I don't even know. I'd have to ask him.
So it looks like Johnny Tripp's here, pops it up to 85K.
Yeah, he's on the button. I mean, it's pretty standard. It's a little bit of a large raise. You can raise it a little bit less. Keep in mind, when you raise pre-flop, what you're trying to do is it's a battle for the blinds and antes.
Yeah.
Since there's only 3 players at the table, there are less antes to fight for. Mm-hmm. You're inherently getting a worse price for your raise. You know, earlier on, when you raise it 2x, you know, you could be raising 60,000 to win 65,000.
Exactly.
But in this case, you're raising it. If you're raising it 85,000, there's only 4,000 antes, so there's 45 plus 12. There's 57,000 in the pot. So there's less.
So, you can't even min raise. It's still less. I mean, yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like normally, early on in the tournament, if you put a min raise in there and you take it down, what's in the pot is more than your min raise. But at this point, a min raise is 60,000. There's only 57,000 in the pot. So you're risking more. So inherently, it doesn't really make a ton of sense to start raising it more and more and more because you're risking more to win less.
Exactly.
A very long-winded way of saying what I try to say there. I hope that makes sense. But I think it's something that a lot of people they don't realize. Sometimes the relation to the ante to the blinds, as it changes, you've got to affect what your size, how much you're raising, or how often you want to steal.
Yeah.
You know, when there's less people in the pot or less people at the table, there are less antes. There's less to steal.
All right, Roger here on the button.
Yeah, and Roger's going to give it up. He's in a tough spot right now with only like 11 big blinds. He's kind of in like shove fold mode. What I might do if I'm in Roger's spot, because of my opponents that are a little bit more passive, I might start limping in on the button a little.
Okay.
I get to play the hand in position, and I'm limping in with I'm limping in with anything I want to play.
Exactly.
So I might limp in with even my big hands too to trap. But I can limp in with hands like 6-7 that play pretty well post-flop.
Yeah.
Hands where I don't want to raise and then get shoved on.
Well, exactly. And if you get any piece of it and these guys check to you, like...
Harry just folded an ace.
Shipping it down there. So you can see Roger sitting right now at about 11 bigs, and like we were talking, he's pretty much looking for his all-in moment.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot. But that's my point. I mean, I don't think I think he can try to play a little small ball against these guys, and I think they'll let him. Like, I'm going to try to play as many small pots as I can with these guys. Like, you know, if I pick up Jack 9, rather than raise and then get fold and then force them to fold,
yeah.
or, you know, get in a tough spot, I feel like, oh, maybe I can just call this, see a flop, and see what goes on. Now, he could get himself in trouble here. We'll see.
I like how we have a couple of railbirds around there watching as well. They're like, hey, guys.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Hey, poker has long been a spectator sport. It's why we're captivated by this game. It's why I love it. It's why I'm so passionate about
Absolutely.
it. It's a great game.
It is. I mean, there's always something new to learn.
The sizing is
there's
here.
There's always something interesting.
Wow, that's such a big man. I mean, what a big raise. I just don't get it.
110K is a very large raise here when the blinds are 15-30. I mean, if anything, that's a raise.
Roger should lose a lot of chips on here, but this is going to actually fold this now.
And that's the thing, is that's a raise that's like looking to get somebody to fold.
Right, and why do you want somebody? Dude, you have queens three-handed.
I know.
You desperately want to call.
Yeah.
And frankly, I mean, if Johnny made it, you know, 65, 75,000, something like that, Roger's going to call. And if Roger flops a 9, he's not going to go anywhere. It turns out great for Johnny because Roger called anyway. And if the flop comes out with a 9 or a couple of spades, he's going with it. One spade. Oh, there.
Oh,
we're getting it in.
Yeah,
There's no way.
This is it. This is.
But Johnny almost cost himself this. Now Johnny's probably going to eliminate Roger. He almost cost himself something because
Roger almost folded because of that oversized raise.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if Johnny just makes it like, you know, 80,000, Roger calls, which he should do, and Roger should go broke on this hand.
Yeah.
And Roger shakes his head. Not much he can do here. I mean, you know, maybe you can debate whether he should folding pre-flop. King 9's a really big hand, though.
Yeah. And where are you going to go? Especially, with that flop.
Oh.
So
Roger needs a 9 or a king.
9 or a king, or it's over.
And that is not a 9 or a king.
Oh, man. Roger, you played like a champion, my friend.
He really did.
Roger will take third place here for a little over $5,000.
I sincerely believe, like I said, when they were all kind of even in chips, if they had played it out from there 100 times, I think Roger probably wins 39.
Yeah.
I think he wins slightly above where he should. Like if everybody should win it 33 times.
Exactly.
I think he wins it 39 times.
He's got the edge.
Slight. I mean, very slight. It's three-handed.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, though, hey, great performance here. And this is going to be interesting because these guys are fairly close in chips now.
Yeah, after he busts Roger, I think that's kind of what they're looking. They're looking at the chips. They're figuring out where they're at.
And this is a big pay jump.
That is. That's almost. I mean, that's borderline double. It's 7,700 up to 13,000.
Yeah, I'm looking at this thing here. The pay jumps between like 8th and 7th, $500. 6th and 5th, $800. 4th and 3rd, $1,000. The difference in 1st and 2nd, like you said, $5,245, something. 5,000.
Yeah.
Almost $5,300.
Yeah.
Now these guys are deep, and again, this is a situation where if I was one of these players and I thought I had an edge, I'd play it out.
Absolutely.
Unless I got a favorable deal.
Yeah.
My guess is that these two players they have respect for each other, and my guess is they'll probably come to a conclusion and just chop it up.
Yeah, and I think that's what they're talking about here. They were just getting a quick little chip count to see exactly where they're at, and that's Colin, one of our other tournament directors here.
He does a great job too.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, they run this place like clockwork, and I swear to God, they never sleep.
Super friendly. I mean, everybody's so friendly here. Disgusting. I coming from New York, I'm like, I kind of look around, I'm like, what do you want?
Yeah,
why are you so nice?
What's going on?
Right, what are you nice? Come on.
So I believe we do have a chop here, and that's what they are filling out.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, Bahuika, by the way, thanks so much for watching here from Omaha. Thanks again, man. Thanks for joining us. And Babyface, Poker Pro Eric, Vocal Terror, Jimmy Bluffett, all you guys, Confluence. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Always a good time. Thank you for tuning in. So it looks like the chop ended up being Harry is going to take home $10,950 plus a $350 seat in an upcoming tournament.
Great.
And then Johnny Trips is going to take home $9,875.
That is not a bad not a bad payday, considering that these guys played for about 13 hours.
Yeah.
So 13 hours of work.
They've been on it.
And they each made, respectively $11,000
Yeah.
and $10,000.
Yeah. So Vocal Terror, like we said before, Harry's taking home just under 11,000, and a seat, and Johnny Trips is taking home just under 10,000. So great tournament, great players. We saw some really, really good play. We saw some interesting stuff. It was awesome. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, is that it for us?
That's it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh
Well,
my God,
listen. I mean, first of all, I want to thank you.
Dude.
It is a joy to work with you. Honestly.
Always, even though you try to push me on the booth, I know we're cool like
It's a joy to work with you. And I want to thank Justin, of course, Justin Curitis here, the tournament director up at Stone's Gambling Hall. Like I said, guys, if you can make it up to Sacramento, this is a great place to play poker. Highly recommend it. Make sure you watch us tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we're not here, but Lon McCarron and Veronica Brill will be. That's right. Future Hall of Famer Lon McCarron will be here. Final table, the 6 max. If you want to play, that starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow. $150 gets you in to a 6 max. If you've never played a 6 max tournament, it's a lot of fun. You're really involved. You get to play a lot of hands, and kind of for $150, it's a great learning experience.
It's like decent value. So definitely come on down, get here early, right? Because this seats will fill up fast. So yeah.
And then Thursday, of course, guys. On Thursday, the main event starts. $450 gets you in. They have that on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. On Sunday, I know I'll be tuning in. I'm going to be watching Chris Moneymaker commentate on the final table of that main event. So make sure you tune into that. And for Justin, for myself, for everybody here at Stone's Gambling Hall, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Have a lovely evening, guys.
Howdy.
Peace.
She's going crazy, the only way she's ever known. I can't explain it, the way she gets into the zone. But when she's got that look, it's the one and only way to go.